Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
Hey Mississippi, let's fill the gap. Did you know Mississippi's community and junior colleges fill the gap between high school and skilled careers? Or that community and junior colleges are also a great value to students? It's true. Not only can they get degrees in these fields, they can actually afford the tuition to get them there. And did you realize that 96% of the state's community and junior college students are Mississippians? Not only that, they tend to stay in the state when they're done with college. And the more students that do so, the more skilled workers we'll have to fill the gap for jobs. And the more people to fill the job gaps, the more money stays in the state. Plus, the value of community and junior colleges in Mississippi is unbeatable. For every dollar the state puts into community and junior colleges, it gets $4.86 back, an almost 5-to-1 return on investment. So, come on, Mississippi. Contact your legislator and tell them to support Mississippi's community and junior colleges. And let's fill the gap.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pawn with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're just moments away from that Renaissance Bank opening pitch. Game 2 between ICC and Gulf Coast. ICC picked up a 7-4 win in the first game of the day as Gulf Coast made it interesting with a 4-run 7th inning. But the Indians were able to hang on and pick up the win in Game 1. So let's take a look at today's pitching matchup, as it'll be Austin King getting the start here for the Indians. 3-0 in the year with a 1.53 ERA. This will be his 5th appearance. He's pitched 17 2/3 innings and has 16 strikeouts on the year. It'll be Isaac Williams, Dylan Mahinet, and Alden Davis to lead things off here for the Bulldogs in the top of the first. Austin King's first pitch, high for a ball, coming at 5:13. So a Renaissance Bank opening pitch coming your way at 5:13 here in Game 2. Ball 1 is the call. Ground ball, second baseman, easy play, tosses it over for the first out of the contest, as that was the second baseman, Kason Milliron, or Milliron, on the putout over to first. And now this will be Dylan Mahinet, the third baseman, coming to the plate. Dylan did have a single and walked, advanced on a throwing error by the Indians, so he was 1 of 3 with a walk in Game 1. That pitch missing low and outside for a ball. Sun starting to set here in Fulton. The wind has been gusting at times, has been calm at other times. We'll give you today's Coca-Cola starting lineups in between the inning. Fastball, or actually a little slider that time that clips the corner of the plate. 1-1 is the count here to the third baseman, Mahinet. We do want to say a hello to those that might be watching in support of Gulf Coast this afternoon. That pitch missing low for a ball. 2-1 now is the count. ICC looking for the sweep after picking up a 7-4 win in the first game of the day. Curveball, and it's a beauty. Wow, where did that miss? Gets just up a little too high and deep in the strike zone that time. 3-1 now is the count. So the 3-1 pitch coming. Fastball missing low. And so that'll be a walk dealt to Mahinet, the first walk of the contest for King. And now up will be Alden Davis, the first baseman. So Davis will dig in with 1 out and a runner on first. We're in the top of the first, game 2 between ICC and Gulf Coast. We'll try to find some scores throughout the league. They had a wild one going in Boonville earlier. As that pitch missing outside for a ball. And your final in that one, Hines 14, Northeast 6. Hines jumped out to a quick 8-0 lead. Northeast answered to make it 8-6, and then Hines able to pick up that 14-6 win there. That pitch across for a strike. The Tigers falls to 9-7, 0-1 inside North Division play. So 1-1 is the count here to Davis. Curveball, beauty across for a strike. 1-2 now is the count here to Davis. Runner at first. That's Mahinet, who drew a walk. 1-2 pitch coming, swung on and missed for strike 3. The first Renaissance Bank strikeout of the day for Austin King, and that goes for out number 2.
The right fielder, number 24, Brandon Parker.
And this will be Brandon Parker. Parker leading the country in home runs. He hit his 12th of the season, a solo shot in the 7th, part of that 4-run inning for the Bulldogs. So he'll dig in with 2 outs and a runner on first. Fastball from King at the knees, called a strike. Well, the home plate umpire's got kind of a delay in his strike call, so you kind of have to wait on borderline pitches. 0-1 is the count. That pitch in the dirt gets away. Runner goes to second. The throw is up the line. Really nobody covering there for the Indians, so the runner will advance into scoring position. I do believe he was going on the pitch. Or actually, he did not, because he would have been thrown out on a good one. So advance on the pass ball, or wild pitch, I should say. And this shot to the gap. Center fielder going to have to hurry, and it's off the wall. This will score a run, and that'll be a double. And so Gulf Coast strikes first on a 2-out double by Brandon Parker. And that scored Mahinet.
Number 19, Chase Fagan.
And it's 1-0 now in favor of the Bulldogs. And now up is going to be the left fielder, Chase Fagan, the number 9 batter. So they're going to call time and get some of the equipment back from Brandon Parker. Parker put a pretty good charge in that when it was knifing away from the center fielder, just could not get to it in time. This is off the wall for a double and scored a run. So this will be Chase Fagan. Takes that pitch low for a ball. Well, this game's scheduled for 7 innings here in game 2. Indians picked up the 7-4 win in the 9-inning game 1. That pitch missing low, 2-0 now is the count here to Fagan. So King looks like he may be a little too amped up here early. Just needs to take a deep breath and try to find that 3rd out of the inning here. Gulf Coast able to come up with a clutch 2-out hit to take a 1-0 lead by Brandon Parker, a double, and that's him standing on second. Fastball right down Broadway for a strike. 2-1 now is the count. The Indians are going to start sending some folks down to maybe just soft toss a little bit, start getting loose. 2-1 pitch coming. That one, nips the zone that time for a strike. 2-2 now is the count here to Chase Fagan. Fagan was 0 for 4. He did reach on a fielder's choice, but was caught stealing. And there's a line drive, and it's going to be foul. Just foul for about a foot. If that one moves over to its left, that's down for a base hit, and Gulf Coast takes a 2-0 lead, so a break there for the Indians. As Parker will return to second, and Fagan will come back with a 2-2 count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Liner, and it gets past the diving first baseman, and that's going to score another one. Clutch 2-out hitting by the Bulldogs has made it a 2-0 lead now. And the Bulldogs, nicely done, needed to try to answer early after dropping that 7-4 decision in game 1. They get back-to-back 2-out hits now, and they lead it 2-0 here in the top of the first. And this is going to be Cullen O'Shea, the shortstop. So O'Shea will dig in. That pitch missing outside for a ball. O'Shea was 2 for 3. He did have a 3-run home run, a single, but he was erased off the bases then on a fielder's choice. Fastball right down the middle for a strike. 1-1 now is the count here to O'Shea. Well, that can make a good baseball team extremely dangerous when you find ways to come up with 2-out hits. And that's what the Bulldogs have done so far. Nice little breaking pitch across for a strike. 1-2 now is the count. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner on first here for the Bulldogs. Swung on and missed for strike 3. A big-time Renaissance Bank strikeout there, the second of the game for Austin King, but it was a 2-out hits that made the difference so far. 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base.
2 runs off of 2 hits and no errors.
Let's take a look at today's Coca-Cola starting lineups here in Game 2, and let's start with your Bulldogs. It'll be Isaac Williams starting in center field. Third baseman would be Dylan Mahennett. And then batting third, playing first, will be Alden Davis. Right fielder will be Brandon Parker. Chase Fagan will be in left field. He'll be batting fifth. Cullen O'Shea, who just struck out to end the inning, he's playing shortstop. Catching in Game 2 is Kobe Cagle. And the DH here in Game 2 will be Fisher Ray. And Castor Lee will be batting ninth as the second baseman. On the hill here for the Bulldogs, Dustin Deal. He's 2-1 with a 3.86 ERA. He's making his 6th appearance of the year as he has 21 innings pitched, 24 strikeouts to his credit. Now here's your lineup for the Indians. Leading things off will be Connor Lewis playing shortstop. Batting second will be third baseman Kyle Kreger. And then it'll be Medlin playing at first base. He'll be batting third. The DH will be Drew Thomas batting in that 4th spot. LeBryant Sedale bat 5th, playing in left field. Batting 6th, playing in right field, will be Drake Wallace. Batting 7th and catching will be Hunter Neighbors. Batting 8th, playing second base, is Kason Milliron. And then batting 9th, playing in center field, will be Trey DeSantis. That is your Coca-Cola starting lineup for both teams. Here in Game 2, we do invite you to grab a Coke and open happiness. ICC and Coca-Cola down. That's a winning combination.
Leading off for the Indians, number 13, Connor Lewis.
So Connor Lewis will lead things off here for the Indians. Lewis, the shortstop, takes a look at that first pitch across for a strike. Lewis was 0 for 3. He walked and was hit by a pitch. He did score a run in Game 1. So Lewis looking for his first hit of the day. Pitch in the dirt, gets away. 1-1 now is the count. So it'll be Lewis, Krieger, and Medlin due up here for the Indians in the bottom half of the first inning. ICC is running this game 2-0. This game is scheduled for 7 innings here in Game 2. That pitch finds the outside corner for a strike. 1-2 now is the count. Dustin Deal is a freshman for the Bulldogs. That pitch outside. 2-2 now goes the count. Well, the Indians need to find a way to maybe scratch across and run. Would love to see them have a big inning here to answer after 2 runs in the top half of the inning for the Bulldogs. That pitch in the dirt. Couldn't get him to chase a bad one that time. 3-2 goes the count here against Connor Lewis. 3-2 pitch coming. This one lifted back, and no, it's just going to be warning track power there as the wind decided to die down as soon as Lewis put the bat on the ball there. It had a chance if the wind would have been gusting like it was earlier, but instead is a fly out to left field. And now up will be the third baseman, Kyle Krieger. Krieger was our Sonic star of the game from game 1. He was 3 for 4 at the plate with a strikeout. He had 4 RBIs. He also picked up his first save of the year. That pitch, wow, I guess a little high for the umpire's liking. Called a ball. 1-0 is the count. That pitch across, 1-1. Now goes the count here to Krieger, the third baseman. One ball, one strike. That pitch missing low and outside, 2-1 now. Goes the count here to Krieger. Medlin on deck for the Indians. Sun setting here in Fulton. A beautiful day for baseball. We do want to welcome those joining us on Let'sGoICCTV.com. That pitch across for a strike. That umpire likes that outside corner, and he likes them low. So you've got to adjust quickly to his strike zone here. 2-2 now is the count here to Krieger. 1 out and nobody on here for the Indians. And whenever I says he likes that outside corner and low, apparently he likes that outside corner and low in the other batter's box. Looks like we're going to have, much like we did in the first game,
Now batting the first baseman, number 11,
strike zone. As that is a Renaissance Bank strikeout for Deal, the second out of the inning, and now up is going to be Medlin for the Indians. So Medlin will dig in here, ICC, with 2 outs and nobody on, bottom of the first. And nice job taking some steam off that one by Deal, as Medlin way ahead of that one for strike 1. 0-1 is the count. There's 2 outs and nobody on here for the Indians. And another one. Big swing and a miss that time by Medlin. Medlin was 2 for 3 with a pair of walks in the first game of the day. Waiting the 0-2 pitch. Fastball and couldn't catch up with it. A nice inning there by Dustin Deal. Gets a pair of Renaissance Bank strikeouts for a 3-up, 3-down inning to get the Indians in the bottom of the first. So the Indians going to come back to the hill. Will be Austin King, as we'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
What's better than waiting in line at the bank? Literally everything. Renaissance Bank's mobile check deposit lets you take care of checks wherever you want. Click on Deposit Check in the Renaissance mobile app. Read and hit Continue on the bottom of the notice page. Sign it. Write your name, account number, and for mobile deposit only on the back. Photograph it, front and back, so we know it's real. Type in the amount. Choose the account to deposit into. Click Continue, and go on your way. You'll receive an email that is being processed, but hold on to the hard copy until the check clears, and then rip it up and throw it away. So what are you waiting for? Download the Renaissance mobile banking app and make waiting in line a thing of the past. Check, phone, check. Renaissance Bank, understanding you. Member FDIC.
At Food Giant, serving you is our #1 priority. We offer the freshest produce, highest quality meats, tasty baked goods, and the best meats and cheeses in our deli department. At Food Giant, you'll always find a staff member eager to help you find exactly what you need. Freshness, variety, value. Shop Food Giant today with several locations in North Mississippi.
And welcome back to action, ladies and gentlemen, as we get set to start the top of the second inning. It'll be Colby Cagle, the catcher. Fisher Ray and Castor Lee due up. We do have a correction on the name, as Don Hammock texting in saying it's actually Dustin Dilly, as that pitch inside for a ball. So Dilly is the starting pitcher here for the Bulldogs in game 2. That pitch missing outside, and Austin King struggling to find the strike zone here early on. been kind of sporadic all around the place. That was not the case for Dilly, though, as he got a pair of Renaissance Bank strikeouts in a 3-up, 3-down bottom of the first. Fastball low, 3-0 now is the count here to the catcher, Cagle. So you figure the red light is on here. Make Austin find the strike zone, and he does there. 3-1 now is the count. I don't imagine that the red light would be off here with a 3-1 count unless you just get something you think you can absolutely drive. And ground ball, second baseman took some funny hop on him. He was able to find it and to throw over for the putout. 4-3 for the first out of the inning.
Number 5, Fisher Ray.
And this will be Fisher Ray coming to the plate. And as I said in game 1, if you're just now joining us in game 2, it shows you've been around the earth for a little while or been on the earth for a while when you know kids that you remember when they were born are now playing college ball, as this is Fisher Ray at the plate. As that pitch fouled off. I say that one of my work studies as well. I'm just feeling old, folks. Cal Brown helping us out this year, the PA announcer here at baseball. As that pitch missing low. 1-1 now is the count on Ray. I believe you and Fisher went to school together at one point in time, correct, Cal? Or were you a grade ahead of him? Or just don't pay me any attention, Cal. Were you a grade ahead of Fisher when he was at Bruce? As there's a ground ball, first baseman will get it and step on the bag for out number 2. So yes, Cal was a grade ahead of Fisher when he was at Bruce High School.
Castro Lee.
Of course, when we talk about that, his dad was the former football coach at Bruce High School, James Ray. He's in attendance today. Also got the Maddox brothers, Dr. Longus in the house. So just a Calhoun County reunion here in Itawamba County this afternoon. Fastball. Wow, where did that one miss? The ball called on that one. So Ray grounds out to the first baseman. Cagle started the inning with a ground ball to the second baseman, and now this is Castor Lee. Lee fouls this one off. 1-1 now is the count. Castor did come in and bat a couple of times in the first game. He was 1 for 2 with a strikeout. It was a interesting strike zone, to say the least, in the first game, as both fan bases were getting after the home plate umpire. Ooh, good looking pitch there. As we went from a strike zone that you can drive a Buick through to one that you can barely fit a shoebox into right now. And that pitch missing, and I think 3-1 now goes the count here to Lee, who is playing second base, batting in that 9 spot here for the Bulldogs in game 2. So waiting the pitch. This one lifted. Center fielder is going to jog back, and we'll squeeze it on the warning track for the putout. So a 3-up, 3-down inning there for the Bulldogs. In the top of the second, Indians will send Thomas, Siddell, and Wallace to the plate in the bottom half of the inning. Gulf Coast continues to lead it 2-0. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
Gotta be hoops and wings.
Nah, subs.
Wings all day.
How about a sub?
Dude, wings.
Nah.
Really?
Gotta have ice cold Coke.
I'll drink to that. Now that's how it's done.
The new Extra Most Bestest Pizza from Little Caesars is topped with the most cheese and the most pepperoni for the nation's best price. And now for a secret message.
Surrender to the toppings.
Incredible! Extra Most Bestest, the most cheese and most pepperoni for just $6.
Pizza.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now as we shift to the bottom of the second inning, ICC trailing 2-0 after a RBI double by Brandon Parker off the wall in center field, and then an RBI single by Chase Fagan back in the top of the first.
For the Indians, number 6, Drew Thomas.
And this is going to be Drew Thomas at the plate, trying to lead things off here. Ladd Taylor also checking in down on the coast. A pitch that hangs up inside for ball. Ladd is not somebody you want to challenge to an arm wrestling match. Got some good folks down there at Gulf Coast as that pitch finds the zone for a strike. I've already talked about Don doing an outstanding job as the SID down there. Ladd, I've known him for my previous years here at ICC as well. So Gulf Coast folks, you're in good hands. This pitch fouled off. 1-2 now goes the count here on Drew Thomas. Drew is the DH. He's batting in that 4 spot. He had a tough go at it. He was 0 for 4 with a strikeout in the first game of the day. Trying to get off the schneid here in game 2. Pitch coming, set up on the outside, low and outside. 4 ball. So 2-2 is the count here on Thomas. Awaiting the pitch from Dilly. It misses low. 3-2 now is the count here on Thomas. So it's Thomas, Sedale, and Wallace all due up here for the Indians. 2-0 is the lead from the bottom of the second. This game's scheduled for 7 innings here in game 2. Thomas fouls this one off. He's going to get out of play, and we'll stay at 2-2. That ball hopped up and hit somebody's car. Luckily, not on the fly. So Dilly awaiting the pitch here. And this one's fouled back. So a nice at bat right now by Drew Thomas, trying to find a way to win this battle here. So Thomas will dig in. Dilly set to deliver. Ground ball, and it's a foul ball. Collier with the grab over there at third base. The Indians giving Coach a hard time on that one, but was able to reach over and get it. The crowd clapping. He kind of tips his hat to the crowd. Nicely done over there by Rick. So, and he still got it. Thomas fouls this one off. And a nice at bat right now by Drew Thomas. He's fouled off about 15 pitches. No, not that many really. But about 4 straight pitches to keep this at bat alive here. Dilly trying to find a way to win it. Thomas trying to win it here for the Indians. Pitch coming. This one lifted high into the evening. Center fielder going back to the warning track and squeezes it for the out. Out number 1. Well, as we said, you get something up high enough, the wind can almost do the rest of the work for you.
Number 18, LaBryant Sedale.
And now up is going to be the left fielder, LaBryant Sedale. Sedale doubled, walked, and had a 2-run home run in game 1. Indians won that one by the final score of 7-4, but it didn't come easy. As 4 runs by the Bulldogs in the 7th, the Indians were able to get out of the jam in the 9th to be able to pick up that win. Sedale looks at a breaking pitch, and it's a beauty for a strike. Remind you, our next broadcast will be Tuesday as we travel to Pearl River with softball. Our next baseball broadcast will be on Wednesday at Holmes. Sedale, boy, he wanted to park that one somewhere near the waterway. Swung and missed for strike 2. So 0-2 is the count now here to the Tupelo native. Swings on this one, lifts it. Right fielder's got the sun in his eyes. A tough play here. And it's going to be down for a double. And Sedale may think about 3. Nope. Good job by quickly getting that one in. And a big-time hit there for LaBryant Sedale. Anything hitting right field is going to be an adventure when the sun sets here in Fulton. As he just got that one up. And the right fielder just could not find it. But a good job of finding it quickly off the hop and getting it in and holding Sedale to a double. And so now up is going to be Drake Wallace. With 1 out and a runner on second here. Wallace, the right fielder, did not play in the first game of the day. He is a 2-sport star here at ICC. Was a member of the football team. Is that pitch outside? Oh, great play Good job by Colby Cagle. If that ball gets away, it's easily the runner advances to third, but instead he was able to just stick the glove out, find it, and keep the runner at second. That pitch going for a ball. Drake Wallace, a member of the football team, playing baseball, did not play last year. Just played baseball last year, did not play football last year for the Indians. As that pitch drifts out of the zone, 2-0 now is the count here on the right fielder, Drake Wallace. Yeah, right field is going to be the spot you don't want to be for about the next 30, 45 minutes as that sun sets here in Fulton. Wallace swings on this one, pops it back out of play. Strike one, 2-1 now is the count here over Drake Wallace. That pitch pops straight back over the ICC Foundation broadcast booth. Remind you to visit iccms.edu and find out how you can give to ICC through the ICC Foundation. 2-1 is the count. One out and a runner on second here for the Indians. Drake Wallace at the plate. That pitch drifting out of the zone. 3-1 now is the count. Well, Dilly, who looked impressive in the bottom of the first, has struggled a little bit here to find the zone. As we said, a very different zone than what we saw in the first game today, as Coach Collier wanting to come over and talk to Drake about something down there on the third base line. So Drake will re-enter the box with a 3-1 count and a runner on second with one out. ICC trailing 2-0 here to number 16 Gulf Coast in game 2. The winds have calmed as Dilly steps off the mound. Actually turned out to be a beautiful day. He was afraid we weren't going to be able to get this one in earlier in the week, but the forecast shifted and everything has looked nice. And there's a shot that's going to drop for a base hit. And they're going to ask Sedale to score from second. The throw home is not going to be in time, and it gets away. But a good job that time by Dilly backing up the play. And that's going to be an RBI single there for Drake Wallace. Wallace just fought that one off.
Now batting the catcher, number 19, Hunter Neighbors.
And now up is going to be Hunter Neighbors. Well, I tell you what, if the the pitcher is not there behind the catcher, Wallace advances to second. So a good job by Dilly doing his job, being where he's supposed to be and keeping the runner at first. 2-1 now is the score, one out. And this is going to be Hunter Neighbors at the plate, the catcher here in game 2. Neighbors also caught the first game of the day. Takes a healthy cut at that one, comes up empty. Neighbors was 1 for 3. He reached on a single. He did walk, scored a run. He also reached on an error, but was was raced after a Little Caesars double play by the Bulldogs. Snap throw over to first, not in time. Neighbors can hit for power, as he had a 2-run shot against Southwest Tennessee earlier last week. Actually, the only game last week for the Indians. That was on Tuesday. That pitch missing low and outside for a ball. 1-1 now is the count here to Hunter Neighbors. So Dilly running into a little bit of a trouble here in the bottom of the second. ICC trying to find that tying run, who is at first in Drake Wallace. Snap throw over, not in time. Ball actually kind of popped away from the first baseman, but he was able to keep that one in front of him, was Davis. Boy, the place to be right now is in left field. You're in the shade. Center fielder in shade as well, but in right field, you're just out there cooking. And Neighbors just could not catch up with that one as he took another healthy chop. And now behind the count, 1-2. Milliron is on deck for the Indians. One out and a runner on first. 1-2 is the count here on Hunter Neighbors. Pitch coming and just misses outside. Borderline pitch going the way of the Indians there. 2-2 now is the count on Neighbors. And Neighbors wants to take time and come talk to Coach Collier here over there on that third base side. We do want to say a special hello to those that are watching in support of the Bulldogs this afternoon on Let'sGoICCTV.com. So 2-2 is the count here on Neighbors. Wallace is at first. Neighbors fouls that one off to keep the at-bat alive here. 2-2 is the count on the catcher. A good crowd still sticking around here for game 2. It was a very vocal crowd on both sides of the coin in game 1. They might be tired as they're not as loud here in game 2. Snap throw over to first, not in time as Wallace gets back standing up. So 2-2 is the count. Neighbors pops this one up. It's going to get out of play, and we'll stay at 2-2. That one nearly landed on top of a pretty nice vehicle out there. Not the ideal spot to park. If I don't park directly behind the press box, I almost park inside the Davis Event Center whenever I come to the ballpark. 2-2 pitch coming. This one fouled off, and this one's got a pretty good chance of hitting a car this time. Nope. That one drops safely as well. So 2-2 stays the count here. Neighbors and Dilly in a battle. Who will win it? Snap throw over to first, not in time. Nice pickoff move that time by Dilly. Just Wallace was not that far off the bag. And they throw it over again. And we'll do it all over again. 2-2 stays your count. Two balls, two strikes, one out, and a runner on first. This pitch popped straight back and out of play, and Neighbors staying alive at 2-2. That pitch popped over the ICC Foundation broadcast booth. And when we talk about the ICC Foundation broadcast booth, we also talk about the ICC Foundation. Mr. Jim Ingram doing a great job for us there with the ICC Foundation. You can visit iccms.edu for more information on how you can contribute to Itawamba Community College, scholarships, building funds, and more. That's the ICC Foundation at iccms.edu. This pitch popped up. Center fielder coming over, calling everyone off, and squeezes it for the putout. So nicely done that time by Dilly after a pretty lengthy at-bat on the part of Neighbors to induce him into a pop-up to center. And now up is going to be the second baseman, Milliron, with 2 outs and a runner at first. Kaysen did not play in the first game of the day. Getting the start at second here in game 2. 2-1 is your score. We're in the bottom of the second. ICC with a runner on first and 2 outs. Milliron looks at that pitch, and it's a beauty. Paints the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 is the count. So Milliron will dig in. Wallace is at first, taking a very minimum lead. Even shrinks a little bit more now. Dilly on the hill. This pitch popped up, will get out of play. And I tell you, that car keeps flirting with disaster over there. It just keeps bouncing around and around and around it the whole time. Of course, if your vehicle does get hit by a ball here at the ballpark, if you've got Itawamba County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox as your insurance guy like I do, you're in good hands. That pitch in the dirt gets away, and the runner will advance. So Wallace will move into scoring position. So ball in the dirt gets away from the catcher. Pass ball will allow the runner to advance. And boy, a base hit could be huge here for Kaysen Milliron. So 1-1, I believe, is the count here on Milliron. Runner at second. And that's a flare, and it's going to be a foul ball. 1-2 now will go the count here on Kaysen. Well, the tying run is at second. We're in the bottom of the second. 2 outs. 1 and 2 is the count here on Kaysen. A base hit could tie this one up if he can get something down to the gap. Instead, Dilly's going to step off. Wind is starting to pick up a little bit. Not gusting like it was earlier, but still blowing out of the ballpark. There's a shot. Second baseman can't get to it. And this will score the run. The ball being booted around out there in the outfield. We're going to try to turn it into a double, and he will. Or excuse me, that'd actually be a single. Advance on the error, but a big-time hit there from Miller. And we're tied at 2.
Now batting the center fielder, number 4, Trey DeSantis.
So the ball was juggled around out there in center field. The throw was not in time as it got away. So now up is going to be DeSantis. I'm going to try to adjust our second camera here to see if I can get a little bit of that light, as it's extremely bright. So now the Indians trying to spark a 2-out rally. They just got an RBI single. Is that pitch in the dirt? 4 ball. Miller was able to advance after the ball was bobbled out there in center field. A good throw might have got him out at second, but the ball got away, backed up by the third baseman to keep him at second. That pitch right at the knees for a strike. 1-1 now is the count. 2-2 is your score. ICC and Gulf Coast in game 2. Indians picked up a 7-4 win in the first game of the day, trying to find a way to get the sweep here at home. Conference opener for both teams. Pitch missing low. 2-1 now goes the count. This is Trey DeSantis, the center fielder, at the plate. If he were to reach them, we'll go back to the top of the lineup with Connor Lewis. That pitch just missing. Now you're starting to hear a few of the Gulf Coast fans starting to chirp a little bit. So that pitch missing a little low and outside. The home plate umpire kind of shoot a look over towards the Gulf Coast dugout. So Dilly in the hole here, 3-1 to DeSantis. DeSantis lines one off the glove of the second baseman, and this is going to score another run. The hits continue for the Indians here in the bottom of the second inning, and a big-time hit there as ICC now takes a 3-2 lead on another 2-out hit. We saw Gulf Coast do it.
Now batting the shortstop, number 13, Connor Lewis.
They were able to get some 2-out hits to push across the run, and the Indians doing it here again. In the bottom of the second, they now lead it 3-2, and we're going to have a slow stroll out to the mound here by Gulf Coast. We'll take a break and hear a few words from our sponsors and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
The new extra most bestest pizza from Little Caesars is topped with the most cheese and the most pepperoni for the nation's best price. And now for a secret message.
Surrender to the toppings.
Incredible! Extra most bestest, the most cheese and most pepperoni for just $6.
Pizza, pizza.
No change here for the Bulldogs as Dilly will stay on the mound. ICC has sparked a rally here with 2 outs, much like the Bulldogs did in the top of the first. The Indians now have plated 3 runs in the bottom of the second to take a 3-2 lead here in game 2. So this is Connor Lewis at the plate. Throw to first, not in time. That's DeSantis, who singled off the glove of the second baseman. to score the third run of the inning. A tough play at second, just could not quite find it. Pitch inside for a ball. Lewis put a charge into one, but flew out to left over to the warning track in his first at bat. Trying to keep the inning going here for the Indians. 3-2 is your score. ICC has rallied with 3 runs here in the bottom of the second. As this pitch popped up, it's going to get out of play. Lewis not too happy with himself chasing that one. So that one fouled back for a strike. 2 outs and a runner on first here for the Indians. If Lewis were to reach, it'd be Krieger up next. Snap throw over to first, not in time. DeSantis dives back into the bag. Actually dove literally into the bag, because I don't think he realized he was as close as he was to first that time when he got back on the throw. That pitch hangs up high. 2-1 now. Goes the count here to Connor Lewis. Well, Dilly just hitting a little bump in the road here in the bottom of the second. He got a quick 3-up, 3-down inning with a pair of Renaissance Bank strikeouts in the bottom of the first. ICC has rallied with 3 here in the bottom of the second. That pitch missing high for a ball. 3-1 now. Goes the count here to Lewis. So waiting the 3-1 offering here from Dilly. It's popped up. And the Indians can't find it. But Lewis, though, was not running. And a break there for the Bulldogs. You hear Coach Collier yell, "Get down the line." Lewis thought it was just going to be a pop-up out of play. And the Bulldogs catch a break there as they get out of the inning
For the Indians, number 3 runs
on a
4
pop-up.
hits and no errors.
On the play, Lewis just not running through, so it'll be a coaching opportunity for Coach
Ladies and gentlemen,
Collier.
the Baptist Student Union
As we'll take a
concession
break and hear a
stand
few
will be
words
closed
from our sponsors and be back with more. ICC leads at 3-2 after 2 complete.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pond with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as ICC leads it 3-2 here as we head to the top of the third inning. We'll make a couple adjustments with our camera, as our second camera right now have a little bit of trouble adjusting to the sunlight. So we're going to adjust our main camera and go to a 1-camera shoot until the sun sets a little bit more here this evening. As we go back to the top of the lineup here, there's going to be Isaac Williams to start things off here for the Bulldogs. That pitch missing, low and outside for a ball. There's a shot deep to left field. Sedale goes back to the wall and steps underneath it for the putout. Boy, I tell you what, that one sounded good off the bat of Isaac Williams.
Third baseman, number 6, Dylan Menhennet.
And Sedale was about a step and a half away from bumping into the wall out there in left field. So nothing but an exciting fly ball there as Dylan Mahinet now will come to the plate for the Bulldogs. And there's a shot, and it's deep but foul. Over the left field lounge out there, some of the members of the ICC Baptist Student Union out there enjoying left field. So nothing but an exciting strike there. And we're going to do it on the other side of things. So that one fouled off for strike two. So this is Dylan Mahinet, who was walked, advanced on a wild pitch, and scored a run off a double by Parker. That pitch in the dirt, missing. 1-2 now is the count here to Mahinet. He was 1 for 3 with a single. He did walk, advanced on an error, but was left stranded in the 8th inning. Getting some more baseballs in. So the 1-2 offering coming here. Curveball, and it's a foul ball. The lights on here at Roy Cressup Field. Sun continuing to set. As you can tell, anything hit hard in the air out there in right field. We've already seen it bother a couple of the outfielders. One for each team as that pitch is high over the head of the batter that time. 2-2. Goes the count here to Mahinet. Austin King on the hill. Got a 3-up, 3-down inning in the second. Roughed up a bit in the first as he gave up 2 runs on 2 hits and a walk. Swung on and missed for strike 3. A big-time Renaissance Bank strikeout there.
Now batting the first.
That is his 3rd Renaissance Bank strikeout of the day. And now up is going to be Davis, the first baseman. He was the first strikeout victim of the afternoon for King. That pitch across for a strike. And that's going to be a ground ball. Foul down the third base side. There's a grounder right back to the pitcher. Nice play by Austin King to get the final out of the inning. Take a look at that one on the Little Caesars replay. Great job defending his position that time by Austin King. Just threw the glove up, said, look what I found, and got another 3-up, 3-down inning there in the top of the 3rd. 3-2 ICC with the lead. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
What if Mississippi's community and junior colleges didn't exist? You'd see a much different Mississippi, one without these degrees. And the jobs that come from them. One where many would fail to get a higher education because affordable community and junior college is their only hope. We're in danger of this happening thanks to state budget cuts. In fact, Mississippi once ranked #1 in America's community and junior college systems. #1. But now has slipped out of the top 10, way out, which is already a consequence of budget cuts. So, what if community and junior colleges didn't exist? If budget cuts continue, we may well find out. Contact your legislator and tell them to support Mississippi's community and junior colleges.
And welcome back. Now as we move to the bottom of the 3rd inning, ICC and Gulf Coast here in Game 2. ICC won the first game of the day by the final score of 7-4.
For the Indians, number 15, Kyle Krieger.
And the Indians lead here in Game 2 in the bottom of the 3rd, 3-2. It'll be Krieger, Medlin, and Thomas due up here for the Indians. Swings on the first pitch he sees, pops this one up. Third baseman calling everyone off, waiting for it, and now we'll camp under it for the first out of the inning. Well, the Indians not being too patient in their last couple at bats.
Now batting the first baseman, number 11, Justin Medlin.
And now up is going to be Justin Medlin for the Indians. Maybe one of the most unique walk-up songs you'll hear all year. Not unique song, but you just rarely hear the Imperial March as a walk-up song. Is that pitch missing low for a ball? Not that I'm complaining. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I kind of dig it. That pitch missing for a ball. 1 out, nobody on here. Check swing, did he go? They're going to appeal to first. I don't know how you say you can appeal to first on Medlin in that situation, but he says he did not go. 2-0 now is the count here to Medlin. He did strike out looking to end the first. Excuse me, struck out swinging to end the first. And then he just nubs that one off the inner part of the bat. Foul ball. 2-1 now goes the count. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, and nobody on here for the Indians in the bottom of the third. Game 2 scheduled for 7 innings here. The conference opener for both teams this afternoon as conference play opening all around the state. It's that pitch in the dirt for a ball. Saw Hines pick up a pretty big win over Northeast in the first game today. We'll try to find some other scores throughout the state as we progress throughout the afternoon. Of course, when we talk about those scoreboard updates, we talk about the Bank of Okolona. John Harrod Company proud to sponsor ICC Athletics. Ground ball, and that's going to find its way through. Put them where they ain't that time for a single by Medlin. So he just put it between the first and second baseman, and now up is going to be Thomas.
For the Indians, number 6, Drew Thomas.
So Thomas will come to the plate with a runner on first and 1 out.
Every light is burning in a house of
I was just going to let you listen to the song there for a minute. You can't go wrong with some Garth. Meridian leading 10-6. Not sure who they're playing. They're playing Colin. So Meridian leading Colin 10-6 as they head into the 7th. We'll try to find an update on Holmes and Southwest from game 1. Southwest won the first game of the day 8-4. And they lead at 7-3 in the top of the 5th in game 2. That pitch, just missing low. Like a pretty good pitch that time. That one going for a ball. So waiting the pitch here. And that one across for a strike. 3-1 now goes the count to Thomas, who was taking the whole way that time. 3-2 is your score, bottom of the third. Game 2 between ICC and Gulf Coast. And there's ball 4. So Thomas will get the free pass down to first, and this will bring up LeBryant Siddell. Siddell doubled and scored a run in his previous at-bat. That was part of a 3-run bottom of the second for the Indians. So ICC trying to get something started here in the bottom of the third, trying to pick up some insurance runs here. And the catcher wanting to come out and talk to his pitcher here, maybe trying to buy a little bit of time for some guys getting loose in the bullpen here for Gulf Coast. I'll remind you, next action for ICC baseball will be in Goodman. And when they take on Holmes, that's scheduled for Wednesday. Our next broadcast here on the Red Channel will be on Tuesday as we head to Pearl River with softball. We'll talk about that matchup a little bit later on. And now time is going to be taken here by the Gulf Coast coach. Go ahead and talk about that Last year, ICC jumped out to a quick 7-0 lead over Pearl River in Game 1. Had to hang on for a 7-4 win. And then Pearl River ran roughshod over the Indians in Game 2 as they picked up an 8-0 win in 5 innings. So the Indians saw that doubleheader slip away from them there. And Pearl River trying not to repeat that there, as we will have a pitching change here for the Bulldogs. So we'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pawn with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
When I think of potential, I think of a matchstick. When a matchstick reaches its potential, it releases a flame that ignites everything around it. 2018 brings new potential for you and your life at Itawamba Community College, where you are each empowered to do great things. You can be better, accomplish more, and live a life that is above the bar. Your potential is here.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome back, as we do have a Choice Pawn pitching change. Entering for the Bulldogs is going to be Jamarcus Lang. Jamarcus Lang entering to pitch here for the Bulldogs, wearing number 4. As he's taking his warm-up tosses, ICC leading this game 3-2 here over the Bulldogs in Game 2. ICC won the first game of the day 7-4. Indians will have runners on first and second with 1 out, with Lang entering. And I tell you what, Lang, his first warm-up pitch, airmailed it over the head of the catcher. Maybe a little intimidation factor, but one thing he does have, and that is some nasty breaking action on his pitches. Some of his pitches going to get a citation if they don't use his blinker. So we'll see how well he can do here. Entering to pitch for the Bulldogs with 1 out, runners on first and second. And it's going to be LeBryant Sedale at the plate. So Sedale will greet Lang. That pitch in the dirt, scooped up nicely that time by Cagle. The winds have calmed down. The clouds have separated, and it's actually turned into be a beautiful day for baseball here in Fulton, a Chamber of Commerce light day. So Sedale standing in. Looks at that pitch. It gets away, and runners will advance. So now a big opportunity here for Sedale. If he can find a way to get a base hit here, pick up some of those insurance runs. And, of course, when we talk about those insurance runs, we talk about your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent, Joey Cox. He's my insurance guy. So if you need an insurance guy here in Fulton, go by and see Joey. He's located there on South Adams Street. Former ICC All-American football player as well. Proud to sponsor ICC Athletics here on Let's Go ICC TV. That pitch at the knees, but called a strike. Sedale shaking his head in agreement with the call. 2-1 now goes the count here on Sedale. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Runners on second and third here for the Indians. That pitch missing low. 3-1 now goes the count. Sedale were to reach, and it'll be Drake Wallace up next. Sun continuing to set. Got a little bit of a shade out there in right field now. And there's ball 4. So bases full of Indians, and now with 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd for Drake Wallace.
Now batting the right fielder, number 30, Drake Wallace.
So Wallace coming into the situation here, a chance to open up the contest for the Indians. As Wallace will dig in with 1 out and bases loaded for ICC. Wallace has an RBI single to his credit already. That pitch in the dirt. Good job that time by the catcher from Gulf Coast to block that one up. Right now, if you're the Indians, I don't know what you do here, as Lang is struggling to find the strike zone. Shortstop coming up to offer him a few words of encouragement. He's going to take a sleeve off. See if that might help him out a little bit. Try to stretch and get loose. 3-2 is your score. 1 out, bases loaded for ICC. Gulf Coast got themselves in a jam like this a couple of times in game 1, was able to get out of it. Trying to do the same here in game 2. Wallace jams him. Third baseman lost it. And that will score a run for the Indians. E5 on the play there as the run scores. And the Indians now take a 4-2 lead, and the bases will stay loaded. Well, I think that time the ball took a funny hop, handcuffed Mahennet over at third. He was thinking about going to third to get the force, and then I think he realized nobody was there. And by the time he gathered himself, the ball was on top of him and could not get the out. That pitch inside, nearly hitting Neighbors. Neighbors flew out to center in his first at bat. They're shading him to go a little bit to the right as the center fielder on the first base side of second base. Neighbors puts a charge into this one out to right field. Should be good for a sacrifice fly. The ball and the throw is going to be cut off, and that will be a sacrifice fly. Indians take a 5-2 lead. Nicely done that time by Hunter Neighbors. Gets the sacrifice fly out to right to push across the second run of the inning for the Indians. And of course, when we talk about those sacrifice flies, we talk about the ICC Baptist Student Union. The ICC BSU, proud to sponsor ICC Athletics. Follow them on Twitter at ICC BSU. That pitch inside and a beauty, called a strike on Milliron. Millard singled, advanced on an error, scored a run. Back in that 3-run, bottom of the second, 2 runs on the board here for the Indians. There's 2 outs. Runners on second and third here for ICC. Indians trying to do like they did in the second. See if they can get some runs, and there's going to be a hit. 1 run's going to score. They're going to ask the second one to score from second. The throw, not in time. Throw to second, though, will be in time to get the force at second, but the Indians do plate 2 runs. Big time base hit there. That's going to be a single for Milliron. Then he's out 2-6, trying to advance. And ICC takes a 7-2 lead after a 4-run bottom of the third. So 4 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and a few left on base. 7-2 is your score. ICC leads it. We'll go to the top of the 4th, back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pond with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
Quarter-pound junior double cheeseburger with crispy golden tots for just $2.99.
Makes me kind of want to do a double take.
Double the beef.
Double the cheese.
Double the smiles.
Oh, yeah.
For a limited time, get a quarter-pound junior double cheeseburger and tots for just $2.99. This is how you Sonic.
And welcome back. A big inning there for the Indians as they plate 4 in the bottom of the third. They lead it 7-2 here in Game 2 over the Bulldogs. This is a top 20 tussle between the number 16 Bulldogs of Gulf Coast and the number 8 Indians here in the opening day of conference play for both
Leading off
teams.
for the Bulldogs, number 24, Brandon Parker.
It'll be Parker, Fagan, and O'Shea due up here in the top of the 4th inning, and here comes trouble. Brandon Parker has been a tough out today. He had a double that drove in a run, eventually scored a run back in the 1st, and he had a home run in Game 1, his 12th of the year, and that leads the nation. So you got to be careful with a guy like Parker at the plate. That first pitch across for a strike. Fastball fouled off of the catcher's helmet, and then also the face mask of the home plate umpire for a strike. 0-2 now goes the count. Good job by Neighbors to quickly pop up and check on the home plate umpire, make sure he's okay. Also Parker kind of checking on him as well. Fastball missing outside. King just tried to reach back in his hip pocket and put a little extra on that one. 1-2 now goes the count here to Parker. So waiting the 1-2 pitch. Curveball hangs up and Parker dips out of the way of that one. 2-2 now is the count here on Brandon Parker. Where for the Bulldogs right now, you just need runners on the bags. See if you can start getting some runs scored here. They trail by 5, 7-2. Foul ball will stay at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no out as Parker starting things off here in the top of the 4th. This game's scheduled for 7 innings here in Game 2. If you're just now joining us, the Indians picked up a 7-4 win in the first game of the day. There's a shot, and it's foul, though. A hard hit. Line drive down the third base side. I'll tell you what, when Brandon Parker hits the ball, he hits it hard. So if you're third base, you may want to think about taking a half a step back. The guy like Parker at the plate. So 2-2 is the count here. Going to let the left fielder get back in position out there. King trying to find a way to win this battle here with Parker. 2-2 offering coming. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Big time Renaissance Bank strikeout there by Austin King. That is his 4th Renaissance Bank strikeout of the game. And now up is going to be Chase Fagan, the left fielder. He had an RBI single. And his first at bat was left stranded in scoring position as that pitch low and outside for a ball. Nobody on base to do any damage with. Feel a little bit of a breeze coming in as the sun sets, starting to cool off a little bit out there here at Crescent Field. 1-0 is the count. 1 out, nobody on. That pitch missing. 2-0 now goes the count here to Fagan. O'Shea is on deck for the Bulldogs. Two-0 pitch. Wow, looked a little low and outside, but called a strike. 2-1 now is the count here on Fagan. Fagan, the left fielder. And rolls that one forward, but it's going to roll foul. Jammed him a little bit. Now 2-2 goes the count here on Fagan. Tell you what I'm going to do. We'll do some trivia for anybody that's watching. And you can win a single topping large pizza from Little Caesars if you can tweet me the correct answer. There's a liner, and it's going to be a fair ball over the top of the first base. And it's going to be a double here. May try to turn this thing into a triple. No, good job out there in right field by Drake Wallace. Ball gets in, and that's going to be a double clutch hit there by Chase Fagan.
13, Colin O'Shea.
His second hit of the day. You can find him in tomorrow's box score for the Daily Journal. So a clutch hit there with one out and a double now, and this is going to be Cullen O'Shea. So everybody saw Virginia got upset last night. The first time a 1 beat a 16 in the men's tournament. Not the first time it's ever happened, though. It happened in the women's tournament. Can you tell me what year and who was the team? It was a 16 seed that beat a 1. Tweet that at me, at Let's Go ICC. The first person to hit me up on Twitter will win a large pizza from Little Caesars as that pitch fouled back for strike 1. Cal Brown getting on the Googles, trying to find that answer. One and one now is the count to O'Shea. Big looping curveball just hangs up outside. 2-1 now goes the count. So 2-1 pitch coming. That pitch hangs up high for a ball. 3-1 now goes the count here to O'Shea. Don Hammock tweeting in or texting me the correct answer, but he says give somebody else a shot because he's from Gulf Coast. As that pitch missing for a ball. So he says give somebody else a shot at the free pizza. As Coach Collier is going to come out and talk to his pitcher. Let's take a break and let's actually hear a word from Little Caesars. We'll be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
What do you want to do for lunch? I'm not going to pay like $7 for a burger combo.
You kids don't know about the raddest Little Caesars lunch combo of all time? 4 slices of deep dish pepperoni pizza and a 20-ounce beverage now for just $4. Here, hold this.
Get a Little Caesars hot and ready lunch combo for the incredible price of just $4 for a limited time.
Pizza, pizza.
And welcome back. No change made here by the Indians. Austin King will stay on the mound. So 1 out in the inning. There is a runner at second. That's Fagan. Don says no matter how good Little Caesars is, he said financially may come up a little short on making that trip up here to Fulton for his free pizza. I'll tell you what, Don, next time you are in Fulton, I've got you covered. So we'll give you a rain check on that one. But we had someone use the Googles and tweet me the correct answer. That pitch across and quickly ahead in the count, 0-2, is Austin King. So I'm not sure what Coach Collier said to Austin King, but it worked. You know what? We've had 2 people tweet at the same time. So we'll take a look at that one. We'll have to go to the instant replay to see who got that tweet in first. Or better yet, I can just pick. Or actually, you know what? This is somebody from Gulf Coast as well. And it's at Young Trip. It says Gulf Coast softball number 7. And she got it correct. Harvard in 98 against Stanford. And also Cal Brown tweeting in the correct answer. Harvard over Stanford in 1998. Cal, were you born in 98? He was. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. That's the year I graduated high school. So runners on first and second here. And there's a shot. Left fielder going to have to hurry back to the wall, and it's off the wall. 1 run will score. And that'll be it. So a timely hit there for the Bulldogs. And that's going to be a double. And an RBI double there. As that was Fagan that came around to score on that double by Fagan. And that may do it for Austin King. Collier coming out on the field one more time. Let's take a break and hear a few words from our sponsors. We'll be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
When I think of potential, I think of a matchstick. When a matchstick reaches its potential, it releases a flame that ignites everything around it. 2018 brings new potential for you and your life at Itawamba Community College, where you are each empowered to do great things. You can be better, accomplish more, and live a life that is above the bar. Your potential is here.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome back now, as we do have a Choice Pawn pitching change. Hunter Hughes will enter to pitch here for the Indians. So Hughes will replace King. The runners on third and second do belong to King, so we cannot close the book on him just yet. So Hunter taking his warm-up tosses. Let's hear a few more words from our sponsors. We'll be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
At Food Giant, serving you is our #1 priority. We offer the freshest produce, highest quality meats, tasty baked goods, and the best meats and cheeses in our deli department. At Food Giant, you'll always find a staff member eager to help you find exactly what you need. Freshness, variety, value. Shop Food Giant today with several locations in North Mississippi.
And welcome back. ICC with the 7-3 lead here, but Gulf Coast threatening in the top of the fourth inning.
Fisher Ray.
There's one out. Runners on second and third here for the Bulldogs. They trail 7-3. And this is going to be the DH, Fisher Ray, coming up to the plate. Ray takes a look at that first pitch. Missing low and outside for a ball. So Hunter Hughes entering to pitch here for the Indians. There's a line drive. Second baseman, plenty of time, scoops it up. Throws over for the second out, but the run will score. And the runner will advance to third on the play. 7-4 now is your score on that RBI ground out to second. 4-3 for those of you scoring at home on the putout. And now Castor Lee will come to the plate with 2 outs and a runner at third. So the Indians give up the run for the out. Breaking pitch, and it's a beauty, across for a strike. 0-1 is the count here to Lee. Lee flew out to center to end the second. Trying to avoid that here. That pitch hangs up. 1-1 now is the count to Lee. He was 1 for 2 in the first game of the day. He did have a single and struck out. There's a ground ball up the middle. Tough play. Shortstop comes up, makes the play, throws over in time for the putout to end the inning. Big out there for the Indians. Score that one 6-3 as they get out of the inning with minimum damage done. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on the base. ICC leads at 7-4 as we head to the bottom of the fourth. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
What's better than waiting in line at the bank? Literally everything. Renaissance Bank's mobile check deposit lets you take care of checks wherever you want. Click on Deposit Check in the Renaissance mobile app. Read and hit Continue on the bottom of the notice page. Sign it. Write your name, account number, and for mobile deposit only on the back. Photograph it, front and back, so we know it's real. Type in the amount, choose the account to deposit into, click Continue, and go on your way. You'll receive an email that is being processed, but hold on to the hard copy until the check clears, and then rip it up and throw it away. So what are you waiting for? Download the Renaissance mobile banking app and make waiting in line a thing of the past. Check. Phone. Check. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 7-4 is your score as Sean Wansley's favorite song echoes throughout Crescent Field. Sweet Child O' Mine. You haven't lived until you've heard Sean Wansley perform that song on karaoke.
Leading off for the Indians, number 4, Trey DeSantis.
So it'll be Trey DeSantis to start things off here for the Indians in the bottom of the fourth. And that pitch thrown behind him. DeSantis almost jumped into the pitch as that one was thrown behind him that time. We said that Lang was a little wild in some of his warm-up pitches, but he also has some pretty nasty breaking pitches as well. And that pitch swung on and missed there by DeSantis. Even the count now at 1-1. That pitch finds the zone. 1-2 now is the count. 1 ball, 2 strike, no out here as DeSantis leading off the inning here for the Indians. And a wicked curveball just could not quite get on top of it enough. 2-2 now goes the count. Here for DeSantis. DeSantis did have an RBI single in his first at bat. Looking at a 2-2 count here from Lang. Grounds that one foul. And we'll stay at 2-2. Coach Ernest with a half-hearted effort over there in the first base coach's box. Of course, he's a former pitcher here at ICC. Went on to SELA and finished up at Blue Mountain, where he did some graduate assistant out there at Blue Mountain. Ground ball, third baseman finds it. Throw over is in time for the putout. Score that one 5-3 to retire DeSantis to start the fourth. Speaking of Blue Mountain,
Connor Lewis.
As Connor Lewis comes to the plate, former Indian Jonas White is absolutely showing out at Blue Mountain. He tossed a one-hitter earlier this week for his 6th win. He is 6-0 for the Toppers out there at Blue Mountain. So Jonas White having an outstanding career, much like other former Indians do. Tanner Poole at Mississippi State. Timothy Rowe at Ole Miss. And that pitch hangs up and outside. Keith Stepter and Blake Bennett, both at Memphis. You got guys at UNA, West Al, all over the place. Coach Collier does a good job of getting players not only prepared but successful for the other level. So that pitch missing for a ball. 2-0 now. Goes the count here to Connor Lewis. Lewis is 0 for 2. Grounded out to third, flew out to left to the warning track in his first at bat. Takes a look at that pitch low for a ball. 3-0 now. Goes the count here to Connor Lewis, the shortstop. 3-0 pitch coming. Taking the whole way that time, and it's going to be a ball 4. Borderline pitch that did not go the way of Lang that time. So now Lewis will head down to first, and this is going to be Kyle Kreger coming to the plate.
Now batting the third baseman, number 15, Kyle Kreger.
So Kreger will come to the plate. With 1 out and a runner on first, ICC would like to get a couple of those runs back they gave up in the top half of the inning. Kreger 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Throw over to first, not in time. Curveball, boy, that was nasty. Wow, where did that one miss? I think that thing had such a curve on it, it scared the umpires. He kind of flinched As that thing right there almost did a belly roll. Beautiful pitch, though, called a ball. There's a hard shot that's going to get through the gap. Nice hit that time by Krieger. His first hit of the game. And now the Indians trying to get something going here in the bottom of the fourth.
Now batting, the first baseman, number 11, Justin Medlin.
And this is going to be Justin Medlin. Medlin single, scored a run back in the third. He also struck out swinging to end the first. So Medlin marches to the plate, yes, pun intended, with one out, runners on first and second here for the Indians. Lang still on the hill for the Bulldogs. So awaiting the pitch, swung on, fouled it back for strike one. Well, Lang, he's just sporadic enough to keep you on your heels. And he's got plenty of movement on all of his pitches. So you got to be locked in pretty good to hit him pretty solid. That first one missing, or I should say foul back for a strike. That one missing outside for a ball. 1-1 now is the count here to Medlin. Medlin was 2 for 3 in the first game with a pair of walks, an RBI, and a run scored. Trying to add to that hit total here this afternoon. Lang checks the runner at second, now delivers. Nice off-speed pitch. Medlin way ahead of that one. 1-2 now is the count here on the first baseman. Good crowd still sticking around. As I said, the sun has dropped, so it's getting a little cool out here at the ballpark. Nothing unpleasant. So 1-2 is the count. Lang set to deliver. Swung on and missed for strike three. Nice job that time by Lang to battle back and get the second out of the inning with his first Renaissance Bank strikeout of the day. And now up is going to be Thomas. Thomas walked
for the Indians, number 6,
and flew out to center. He was the last batter that Dilly saw. As Dilly issued him a walk, he eventually came around to score. So now trying to spark a 2-out rally here for the Indians in the bottom of the fourth. Runners on first and second. ICC nursing a 7-4 lead. That pitch outside, nicely done that time by the catcher to block it up. He tried to zip it to second with the runner taking a healthy lead. Lang that time just in self-defense mode threw the glove up and caught it. Might have been a break for the Indians. So that first pitch missing for a ball. As we said, Thomas 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored here in game 2. He's somebody that's due for a big base hit. Lane taking his time. Puts that one in the dirt, and the runners will advance. And the runner will take a big turn at 3. But a good job hustling down that time by Cagle to keep the runner at third. So now we talk about somebody due for a big base hit. If he can come up with one here, with 2 outs, could easily score 2 runs if you've got speeds on the bases in Lewis and Krieger. Krieger at second, Lewis now at third. Indians trying to get those 2 runs back that they gave up in the top half of the inning. ICC leading it 7-4. Swung on and missed. Boy, I tell you what. Thomas had one thing on his mind, and that was parking that one beyond the fence. Came up empty on a healthy swing there. 2-1 now is the count here to Drew Thomas. Runners on second and third. That pitch at the knees called a strike. Thomas kind of looking back at the home plate umpire with a surprised look. He's been pretty consistent on those low pitches at the knees on those outside corners. 2-2 now is the count with 2 outs. Lang getting set to deliver the pitch. This one fouled off and will stay at 2-2. Annabelle Bunch standing up and letting everybody know she's here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. This one foul back, and we'll stay at 2-2. Nice little battle going here between Lang and Thomas. If Thomas were to reach, then it'd be LeBryant Sedale due up next for the Indians. 2-2 is the count, 2 outs. Runners on second and third here for the Indians. They lead 7-4 here in game 2. That was the margin of victory in game 1. There's a shot right back up the middle. That will score 2 runs. The relay to home will be cut off, and a clutch hit there by the Indians. Big time hit there. Got the runs back from the top half of the inning. We'll take a look at that on the Little Caesars instant replay. Return to sender. A 2-run single. And now up will be LeBryant Sedale. Big answer for the Indians in the bottom half of the inning. A clutch 2-out hit there by Drew Thomas makes it a 9-4 lead now in favor of the Indians. We're in the bottom of the 4th. This game scheduled for 7 innings here in game 2. Sedale looking to keep this inning alive here for the Indians. Runner at first, that's the DH Thomas. That pitch gets away. Thomas wasn't too happy with how far the ball got away, so he decided just to come back to first. 9-4, ICC with the lead here in game 2. Trying to get the sweep over Gulf Coast to start conference play. Toss over to first. Not in time as Thomas dives back safely. And this one lifted center field. It's got a chance. Back to the wall. See ya later. A 2-run home run for LeBryant Sedale. I believe that's his second home run of the day. It is. Sedale, a no-doubter to center field. Boy, he has saw the ball well today. (11-4) now. The Indians with the lead. His second 2-run home run of the day. He's got 2 home runs, a pair of doubles, and a pair of walks as well. Them blankets cashing in here late in the contest. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com. We'll have a pitching change for the Bulldogs.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pond with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome back. So we do have a new pitcher here. Can't quite pick up his number with these yellow digits. I know his first number is a 2. He's just not turning around enough to let us see what his second number is. But anyway it goes, it is a Choice Pond pitching change here for the Bulldogs. It'll be the 3rd pitcher of the game here for Gulf Coast. Let's take a quick timeout here, a few more for our sponsors, and be back with more right after this.
Quarter-pound junior double cheeseburger with crispy golden tots for just $2.99.
Makes me kind of want to do a double take.
Double the beef.
Double the cheese.
Double the smiles.
Oh, yeah.
For a limited time, get a quarter-pound junior double cheeseburger and tots for just $2.99. This is how you Sonic.
And welcome back. 26. He finally turned it around for us to be able to see the number of the new pitcher. So we'll let Cal Brown let everybody know who the pitcher is.
Now pitching for the Bulldogs, number 26, Cole Kittrell.
So Cole Kittrell. will come in now. The Indians have sparked a 2-out rally behind a 2-run single by Drew Thomas and a 2-run home run to center field by LeBryant Siddell. And Wallace is going to be hit by a pitch. So Wallace will head down to first. And now up is going to be Hunter Neighbors. Neighbors had a sac fly to right field to score a run back in the third. He's also flew out to center. So the Indians up 11-4 after back-to-back 4-run innings. Still trying to do some damage here in the bottom of the fourth. Pitch missing low and outside for a ball. So 1-0 is the count here to Neighbors. That pitch, a beautiful pitch across for a strike. 1-1 now is the count to Neighbors. 0 for 1 with a sac fly is Neighbors here in game 2. He went 1 for 3 with a single, reached on an error, and also walked and scored a run in game 1. Neighbors takes a look at that pitch, just missing low and outside for a ball. 2-1 now is the count. Runner at first, that's Drake Wallace, who was hit by a pitch. That pitch high, missing for a ball. 3-1 now goes the count here to Neighbors. If Neighbors were to reach the Milliron, the second baseman would be up next. (3-1) offering right down Broadway for a strike. 3-2 now is the count here to Neighbors. Neighbors taking the whole way that time. 11-4 is your score. The Indians have put a 4 spot on the board here in the bottom of the fourth. They were looking to try to answer the 2 runs they gave up in the top half of the inning. They've done that plus 2 more. Kidrell getting set to deliver the 3-2 pitch. Runner goes. Ground ball up the middle, and it's going to get through. Second baseman, though, is going to get a friendly hop, and we'll get it for the putout. Thought for a second that the infield umpire could not get out of the way of it, but he did. And 4-3 ends the inning. But the Indians get 4 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
At Food Giant, serving you is our #1 priority. We offer the freshest produce, highest quality meats, tasty baked goods, and the best meats and cheeses in our deli department. At Food Giant, you'll always find a staff member eager to help you find exactly what you need. Freshness, variety, value. Shop Food Giant today with several locations in North Mississippi.
Best tailgate, brisket.
No, real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings.
Burgers.
7-layer dip.
Hummus.
What?
You need a hot grill.
And an ice-cold Coke.
It's got to be cold.
It's Tailgating 101.
The new extra most bestest pizza from Little Caesars is topped with the most cheese and the most pepperoni for the nation's best price. And now for a secret message.
Surrender to the toppings.
Incredible! Extra most bestest, the most cheese and most pepperoni for just $6.
Pizza.
I love these soft pretzel twists.
They're so soft and salty, I like to sample them. That was a tongue twister!
Here's another one. Peter Piper picked a pack of perfect pretzels.
Hold up. Your last name is Piper?
Try a new warm and buttery soft pretzel twist with the Sonic Fruit Fizz. This is how you Sonic.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we head now to the top of the 5th inning. ICC with back-to-back 4-run innings, and they lead it 11-4 now. As we head to the top of the 5th, and we'll go to the top of the lineup, and it'll be Isaac Williams. Isaac 0 for 2 with a ground ball to second and a fly out to left. And his first at bats here in game 2. This is Hunter Hughes on the hill for the Indians. And that first pitch, a little slow slider that drifts in for a strike. This pitch fouled out of play. And now the count goes 0-2. So Williams, Mahinette, and Davis due up here for the Bulldogs. That pitch high and outside for a ball. 1-2 goes the count. So Williams trying to spark the Bulldogs here. That pitch missing. 2-2. Now the count. As that pitch missing as well. Now the count goes full. Wright thought that was strike 3 as he was getting ready to walk away that time. 3-2 now goes the count. Good job by Williams. And that pitch is high for a ball. So after falling behind in the count, 0-2, Williams able to battle back and earn the walk to start the inning.
Dylan Mahinette.
The Indians do have somebody getting loose, actually 2 pitchers getting loose in the bullpen in case they're needed. Now up is going to be Mahinette. Mahinette walked, advanced on a wild pitch, and scored a run back in the first. Struck out looking for the second out of the third. That pitch, ooh, good looking pitch. No idea where that one missed. All the home plate umpire can do is just shake his head no after some of the ICC fans thought that was a good one as long as I did. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call a makeup call in the world of baseball. You missed the first one, that one in the other batter's box. In the world, all is right now with a 1-1 count. There's a hard hit ball out to left field. And a nice piece of hitting that time. First hit of the game here in game 2 for Mahinette. First hit that Hughes has surrendered as well. And now up is going to be Davis, the first baseman. So runners on first and second. The Bulldogs trying to get something going here in the top of the 5th inning. They trail 11-4 here in game 2. ICC picked up a 7-4 win in the first game of the day. That pitch fell off the table just a bit too soon. Nice job, though, by Neighbors to block that one up and keep it in front of him. 1-0 now is the count. One ball, no strikes, no outs. Runners on first and second here for the Bulldogs. Be a great time for a Little Caesars double play for the Indians. As that pitch fouled out of play, 1-1 now is the count. That bat sounded kind of dead on contact. Don't know if he just got that one on the very end of it or not. 1-1 now is the count. Runners on first and second with no outs. Top of the 5th, game 2 between ICC and Gulf Coast. There's one. Can they get 2? Yes! And they're going to talk this one over here. And they're going to come out and talk this one over. I want to say this right now. I don't want to talk too loud just in case the umpires can hear me. His foot was off the bag, so if they overturn this, it won't be a big deal. No, they're not. Wow. A break for the Indians. A big-time break there for the Indians on that Little Caesars double play. And the Gulf coach is going to come out and get in the ear of the home plate umpire. Rightfully so, folks. Saw it from up here. And the home plate umpire being cool, calm, and collected, just dusting off the plate. And now the infield umpire is going to come in and talk. Kudos to one of the Gulf Coast fans, as I want to agree 100%. As he said, you proved in the first game you can't see. And I'm going to say, Gulf Coast fans have every right to be upset with the call right now. Now, they are giving the Gulf Coast coach a little bit of leniency on him getting after this one here. As that should have been the home plate umpire's chance to overrule the call. And I am saying from up here, his foot looked like it was off the bag. Now, Coach Collier got a warning in game one. You got to think there's got to be a warning coming soon. Now there's 2 outs in the inning. And this is going to be the ever-dangerous Brandon Parker coming to the plate. And time is taken here as Coach Collier may be trying to make a change here. And that looks like that's going to be the case here. So we're going to have a possibly Choice Pond pitching change coming up here for the Indians as Coach Collier is going to make the slow roll out to the mound here. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
You could say it's about the clubs. You could say it's about the ball. You could even say it's about the course or the weather. But what it really comes down to is consistency and hard work. Over and over and over again. At Renaissance, we understand consistency. We understand hard work. Most importantly, we understand you.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
Welcome back now as we do have a Choice Pond pitching change. This will be number 33, Chris Peet, entering to pitch for the Indians. Pete, a typically early starter in the week, coming in relief duty here. 2 outs in the inning. A runner on third for the Bulldogs after a break for the Indians on a Little Caesars double play. Let's take a break and hear a few words from our sponsors as Pete takes his warm-up tosses. ICC leads at 11-4, 2 outs. Top of the 5th, Gulf Coast with a runner on third.
Best tailgate, brisket.
No, real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings.
Burgers.
7-layer dip.
Hummus. What?
You need a hot grill.
And an ice cold Coke.
It's got to be cold.
It's tailgate 101.
Quarter-pound junior double cheeseburger with crispy golden tots for just $2.99.
Makes me kind of want to do a double take.
Double the beef.
Double the cheese.
Double the smiles.
Oh, yeah.
For a limited time, get a quarter-pound junior double cheeseburger and tots for just $2.99. This is how you Sonic.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get set to restart here. Chris Peet taking the hill for the Indians with a Choice Pond pitching change. A runner at third. That is Williams. As a sidearm delivery swung on and missed, this is Brandon Parker at the plate. The ever dangerous Brandon Parker leading the country in home runs with 12. Swings on the first pitch, misses for a strike. Swings on the second, misses for strike 2. He has taken 2 home run chops at those pitches. Just could not find them that time. 0-2 now is the count here to Parker. Runner at third, ICC with an 11-4 lead here. That pitch in the dirt blocked up nicely that time by Neighbors. The runner will stay at third. Remind you, our next baseball broadcast will be on Wednesday as we travel to Goodman to take on the Bulldogs of Holmes. Our next broadcast here on the Red Channel, we'll head down to Pearl River with softball on Tuesday. That game's supposed to be scheduled for tomorrow. Has been pushed back due to rain in the area. A breaking pitch, sidearm delivery that didn't break enough. So that one goes inside. 2-2 now is the count. Just couldn't quite flick the wrist sharp enough on that sidearm delivery. 2-2 pitch coming, and it hit him on the hands. And so that will be a hit batter to Parker. And Coach Collier is going to come out and try to argue that one, saying he swung at the pitch. And Coach Collier is going to get his 2 cents worth in here. Well, needless to say, neither one of these umpires will be on anyone's Christmas card list next season. As Collier just came out, had a quick conversation with the home plate umpire.
Chase Fagan.
And now up is going to be Chase Fagan. Here's a tough out. Fagan's 2 for 2 with a single and an RBI. He's also doubled and scored a run. As they're going to take a look at Parker over there at first base. As he said, he checked his swing and found the ball off his hand. Hopefully he's okay, but if you know anything about kind of like your hands or your feet, on that inside part of your hand's a pretty small bone. On that hand he led off with that time, as Donna Wesley is going to come out and see if they need a trainer across the way for Gulf Coast. Hopefully he is okay. Of course, when we talk about Donna, we talk about the North Mississippi Medical Sports Medicine team. Donna Wesley doing a great job for all of our student athletes here at ICC. So let's take a break and hear a few words from our sponsors, and we'll be back with more right after this.
At Food Giant, serving you is our #1 priority. We offer the freshest produce, highest quality meats, tasty baked goods, and the best meats and cheeses in our deli department. At Food Giant, you'll always find a staff member eager to help you find exactly what you need. Freshness, variety, value. Shop Food Giant today with several locations in North Mississippi.
Gotta be hoops and wings.
Nah, subs.
Wings all day.
How about a sub?
Dude, wings.
Nah.
Really?
Gotta have ice cold Coke.
I'll drink to that. Now that's how it's done.
Sonic Nights is the highlight of the summer.
Oh, yeah. There's probably some pretty big names here checking out these half-price floats.
Oh, everyone who's anyone is here tonight. Look, there are those two guys.
What are they famous for?
Huh. I think for eating here all the time.
Are we good at eating here or what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, come on.
For a limited time, get real ice cream slushes, shakes, and floats half price after 8 p.m. during Sonic Nights. This is how you Sonic.
So Parker still being attended to over there at first base. Give a shout out to Coach Andy Kirk and the boss lady, Dana Kirk, for checking in. As they're still checking on Brandon Parker over there at first. He's being attended to by both trainers on the field right now. Hopefully, as I said, he's okay. Chris Pete continuing to take some warm-up tosses here as they continue to look at Parker. Let's take another timeout. We'll be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
Helen, don't you know Little Caesars has the extra most bestest for $6?
$6? I gotta sit down.
Yeah, it has the most cheese and pepperoni for the nation's best price.
Most cheese and most pepperoni? I gotta sit all the way down.
Get the most cheese and most pepperoni for the nation's best price. Little Caesars large $6 extra most bestest.
Pizza.
Today, you are connected more than ever. Your friends, your family, your life. Having a partner that understands banking is what you do on your time, anywhere you like. It's about being connected, which is easy with convenient locations in your community. Understanding that sometimes you need to speak to real people with real answers. Banking partners with the services you desire, who understand how you want to bank. Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
And welcome back. Parker's going to stay in the game here. As lengthy delay there, as Chris Pete now will retake the heel. 11-4 is the lead here. ICC, 2 outs. Runners on the corners here in the top of the 5th for the Bulldogs. Sidearm delivery swung on and missed that time. This is Chase Fagan. As we said, he has been a tough out for the Indians here in Game 2. An RBI single back in the first. A double that scored on a double by Cagle. Swung on and missed for strike 2. So Pete quickly ahead in the count, 0-2 now here on Chase Fagan. Speaking of Coach Kirk, we want to remind you softball action Tuesday at Pearl River here on the Red Channel. Pitch in the dirt, blocked up nicely that time by Neighbors. And then Wednesday, softball will be back here. They'll be playing Mississippi Delta for their annual breast cancer awareness game. Baseball will be on the road to Holmes. That'll be on the Red Channel. And then I think it's Friday, softball hosts Colin. So a big week for ICC softball in conference play. Ground ball. Second baseman comes over, gets it, tosses over, and that will end the threat. 4-3 on the putout of Fagan. First time that he's been retired here in game 2. And the Indians do get a gift once again on a missed call after the first baseman's foot was off the bag on a Little Caesars double play. What a break for the Indians. No runs, one hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. We'll take a break and move to the bottom of the 5th inning. We're due up for the Indians to be the 8-9-1 batters. Milron, DeSantis, and Lewis. I'll tell you what, let's keep it here and let you enjoy some house music. So we'll call it the 5th inning stretch here in Fulton as we head to the bottom of the 5th. ICC with an 11-4 lead here in game 2. If you're just now joining us, ICC was able to pick up a 7-4 win in the first game of the day. It was Kyle Krieger, our Sonic star of the game. He went 3 for 4 at the plate with 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored. He also picked up his first save of the season to earn our Sonic Star of the Game. We'll be naming our Sonic Star of the Game, part of the Renaissance Bank postgame report, as soon as the conclusion of this one comes your way here in Game 2 in Fulton.
Leading off with Indians, number 5, Jason Milliron.
So Milliron will come to the plate now. He had a 2-run single in his last at-bat. He was thrown out trying to advance to second. It was part of a 4-run 3rd inning. The Indians put 4 runs on the board in the bottom of the 4th, and they lead it now 11-4. Milliron fires one foul right towards his teammates as they all scatter. Everybody looks to be okay. So strike 1 is the call there on Kaysen. He's 2 for 2. He also had a single and advanced on an error. Is that pitch away for a ball? 1-1 now is the count. Of course, remember I talk about those scoring. Those are not final. Some people tell me I'm a little too mean on my errors. They say, Gore, if you can't make the play, then it shouldn't be an error. If that's the case, there would be no such thing as an error because I wouldn't be able to make a single play in the field defensively. That pitch of beauty. Outside corner for a strike. 1-2 now is the count here to Kaysen. Milliron leading us off here in the bottom of the 5th. DeSantis on deck, and then we'll go to Lewis due up here in the inning. Breaking pitch, missing low. 2-2 now is the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Milliron will dig in here. And fights that one off and fouls it towards his teammates again. And this time I think it actually got somebody. As the Indian is slow to walk away over there. I think it's one of those got him in the back of the leg. So 2-2 is the count. Curveball of beauty. Oh, my goodness. Don't know where that one missed. 3-2 now. Is the bat? That's right. I can help you out, Gulf Coast fans. That was a pretty curveball there. Just, I guess, too far inside for the umpire's liking. And a carbon copy pitch of the last one he called a ball. Called strike 3 on Mill Iron. The first Renaissance Bank strikeout of the game for Cadell. And that kind of tells you how the umpiring's been today. It has not been stellar at all. That was the same pitch that he called a ball, the exact pitch before he called strike 3. So I guess a little make-up call there. After missing it the first time, he got the opportunity to call it the second time. And now up is going to be DeSantis. DeSantis 1 for 2 on the afternoon with an RBI single. There's a slow roller up the middle. Shortstop gloves it. Plenty of time. Throws it over, though, in the dirt. And they said he hangs on to it. 6-3 was not the prettiest put out in the world, but it was effective. I like to throw.
Number 13, Connor Lewis.
Pulled the first baseman off the bag, but he was able to get his foot back down before the base runner got there. If he would have called ICC safe, saying that the first baseman's foot was off the bag, Gulf Coast coaches, players, and fans probably would have rioted. In all honesty, probably would have. So now it's going to be Connor Lewis coming to the plate, 0 for 2 with the walk. Just fooled on that off-speed pitch. 0-1 now is the count. So 0-1 is the count. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Game 2 between ICC and Gulf Coast. 11-4 Indians with the lead. That pitch missing outside. Even with the count now at 1-1. Well, they brought me a hot dog in between games. I didn't get a chance to eat it. It's been staring at me since the start of this game, and it was a 5-13 opening pitch. That was 2 hours ago. Swung on and missed that time for strike 2 by Lewis. Something tells me this hot dog's going to be cold. But on that final out, I'm probably not going to care. So 1-2 now is the count here to Lewis, the shortstop. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Trying to spark a 2-out rally here in the bottom of the 5th. 1-2 pitch coming. Swung on and missed for strike 3. A pair of Renaissance Bank strikeouts for Cadell there in that inning. So the Indians go quietly. 3 up, 3 down. We'll take a break and be back with the top of the 6th right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pond with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
Quarter-pound junior double cheeseburger with crispy golden tots for just $2.99.
Makes me kind of want to do a double take.
Double the beef.
Double the cheese.
Double the smiles.
Oh, yeah.
For a limited time, get a quarter-pound junior double cheeseburger and tots for just $2.99. This is how you Sonic.
At Food Giant, serving you is our #1 priority. We offer the freshest produce, highest quality meats, tasty baked goods, and the best meats and cheeses in our deli department. At Food Giant, you'll always find a staff member eager to help you find exactly what you need. Freshness, variety, value. Shop Food Giant today with several locations in North Mississippi.
And welcome back to action. A good shot of Lee Adams there in front of your camera. Taking photos for ICCimages.com. You can order those photos. $1 download.
Leading off of the Bulldogs, number 13, Olin O'Shea.
And so now it'll be O'Shea, Cagle, and Ray due up here for the Bulldogs in the top of the 6th inning. ICC with an 11-4 lead here in Game 2. And there's going to be a quick meeting of the minds as Pete and neighbors want to talk something over here. Don't know if they might be buying a little bit more time for a pitcher to warm up. Pete started the inning off with a hit batter, then got a ground out 4-3 to end the fifth. And so Chris Pete set to deliver the pitch. Cross for a strike to O'Shea. O'Shea is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He did walk, was left stranded in scoring position. That was in the fourth inning. He did have a no-doubter home run, a 3-run shot in game 1. Breaking pitch, just missing low. 1-1 now is the count. Yeah, whenever I say that was a no-doubt home run, it was over the cypress trees, over towards the concession stand at football. 1-1 pitch coming. And a late call strike. 1-2 now is the count. Remind you to stay tuned. We'll have the Renaissance Bank post-game report. We'll take a look at some Little Caesars replays from the game. We'll be picking our Sonic Star of the game for the Indians as well. Pete steps outside for that sidearm delivery, missing low and outside. 2-2 now is the count to O'Shea. O'Shea, Cagle, and Ray due up here for the Bulldogs. Foul that one off. 2-2 now is the count. Chase ball 3. That one's low and outside. Just did a good job of finding a piece of that one to foul it off. Neighbors couldn't hold on to it. And we'll stay at 2-2 here for O'Shea. Two pitch coming. Missing outside, ball 3. Well, the Renaissance Bank opening pitch for game 1 came at 2:05. It is now 7:20 in the evening. A long day of baseball. We do appreciate everyone that's tuning in here on Let'sGoICCTV.com as that pitch hangs up. Second time that O'Shea will reach on a free pass.
Now batting the catcher, number 2, Colby Cagle.
And Cagle now will come to the plate. Indians looking towards the dugout, or excuse me, towards the bullpen. They do have somebody warming up. And this is going to be Cagle, who doubled in his last at bat. He's also grounded out 4-3. This pitch popped up. Foul territory, first baseman going over and can't make the play. Running out of real estate. Had a little bit more room than he thought that time, as he knew he was getting closer to the tarp out there in foul territory, and had about 2 more steps to go before he gave up on that one, and the ball fell harmlessly to the turf for a strike. Good crowd still sticking around for this one. It's been an ideal day for baseball, absolute beauty. Been a weird week of weather for spring break. It's that pitch missing outside for a ball. 1-1 now is the count. It's been hot, it's been cold, it's been pretty, it's been raining. A little bit of everything, but it's what you get in Mississippi this time of year. 1-1 is the count. Here to Cagle. He's 1 for 2 with a double. And this one's a flare. It's going to drop for a base hit. Just poked it out there, put it where they ain't that time, and a single. The second hit of the evening here in game 2 for Colby Cagle.
Now batting for the Bulldogs, number 5, Fisher Ray.
And now up is going to be Fisher Ray, the DH. He's 0 for 2, but he does have an RBI to his credit. And now the Bulldogs trying to spark a rally here in the top of the 6th. They trail 11-4. Fisher Ray, the DH, with runners on first and second with no outs. That pitch at the knees, called a strike. As we said, this umpire likes a low strike zone, not too big on pitches up in the zone. Much better strike zone than what we saw in the first game. So that first pitch going for a strike. 0-1 is the count here to Fisher. Curveball, and that's going to be a flare over the head of the shortstop. This could score a run. It will. And that's going to be a double for Ray as he never checked up running that time. And an RBI pushes the run across. That was O'Shea that came around to score.
Castro lead.
And 11-5 now is your score, and Coach Collier is going to come out and discuss things with his pitcher. Like we're going to have a pitching change. And we'll take a break and come back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pond with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome back as we do have a Choice Pawn pitching change here. Braden Ellis will come in to pitch here for the Indians. Things getting interesting here in the top of the sixth. 11-5 is your score. Gulf Coast trying to rally much like they did in the first game today. We'll take another break and hear a few more words from our sponsors and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
Sonic Nights is the highlight of the summer.
Oh, yeah. There's probably some pretty big names here checking out these half-price floats.
Oh, everyone who's anyone is here tonight. Look, there are those two guys.
What are they famous for?
Huh. I think for eating here all the time.
Are we good at eating here or what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, come on.
For limited time, get real ice cream slushes, shakes, and floats half price after 8 p.m. during Sonic Nights. This is how you Sonic.
And welcome back. If you're in the Fulton area, remind you can get 50-cent corn dogs this evening here at the Sonic in Fulton to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I will probably go catch me a couple of those after the game. So it's going to be Castor Lee to keep things going here. Runners on second and third. And there's a line drive. Only one play, and that's going to be the first. Throw over is in time. Nicely done. On that play there, good job over at third. Made the grab, looked the runner back, and then threw a strike
Number 11, Isaac
over
Williams.
to first for the putout. That's the first out of the inning. Runners could not advance. And now up is going to be Isaac Williams. He walked in his previous at-bat. Curveball across for a strike. Braden Ellis, the fourth pitcher of the game here for the Indians. Remind you, ICC's next action is to be on Wednesday, March 21st at Holmes. Those games will be available here on the Red Channel. That pitch, I'll let the crowd speak for my thoughts on that pitch. 1-1 now is the count. This pitch fouled out of play, 1-2. Goes the count here to Isaac Williams. 0 for 2 with the walk is Williams here in game 2. He was 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts in the first game of the day. 1-2 pitch coming. Fouled off. Nicely done that time by Williams just to find a piece of that one to keep the at-bat alive. We'll stay at 1-2. We talked about an outstanding crowd out today to support both the Indians and the Bulldogs. Had a good turnout on Twitter as well. A lot of fans watching down on the Gulf Coast area. We do say hello to those as well. That pitch in the dirt gets away, blocked up nicely, though, by Neighbors to keep the runner at third. 2-2 now is the count. Of course, we'll see Gulf Coast again in softball. I can't remember if that game's here or if it's on the coast. Of course, you can visit Let'sGoICC.com for all those schedules. 2-2 pitch, just missing outside. 3-2 now is the count here on Castor Lee. Fastball wasn't there. Time is taken by Lee. 3-2 is the count. Ellis trying to find the second out of the inning with runners on second and third. And he loses him. Ball 4, second time in a row that Williams has gotten a free pass. And boy, right now you really got to be careful if you're the Indians as you're coming to the hot part of the lineup for the Bulldogs. And this is going to be Mahinet. Dylan Mahinet coming to the plate. He singled his last time up. Walked in his first at bat, did score a run. He was put out on that questionable Little Caesars double play back in the 5th. Bases full of Bulldogs, 1 out. And that pitch missing low for a ball. As Ellis struggling to locate. As Mahinet, you got to think, probably going to make it have to be something really pretty before he swings at it with Ellis struggling here. That pitch missing outside. 2-0 now is the count. Good looking pitch there, but just a little too far outside for the umpire's liking. 2-0 now is the count. And that one gets away. Runner's going to try to score from third. No, he's not. He's going to go back. I think he might have been able to get there because Ellis was not covering home, so a break there for the Indians. And it looks like Coach Collier, he's going to come out maybe making a change here as Ellis struggling to locate here early on. Let's take another break. 11-5 is your score. 3-0 is the count. Bases full of Bulldogs. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this.
When I think of potential, I think of a matchstick. When a matchstick reaches its potential, it releases a flame that ignites everything around it. 2018 brings new potential for you and your life at Itawamba Community College, where you are each empowered to do great things. You can be better, accomplish more, and live a life that is above the bar. Your potential is here.
And welcome back. No change made there for the Indians. They were working to get someone loose over at third base. So bases loaded here. That pitch taken the whole way that time. Pitch at the knees, called a strike. 3-1 now is the count here on Mahinet. Bases loaded here. If you're Dylan, you're probably still going to take on this 3-1 offering. With Ellis struggling, and he does. Ball 4, and that will push in a run. The easiest RBI of his career there, as that's the second run of the inning to come across to score. Makes it 11-6 now, and Coach Collier will make that slow roll back to the mound here. And we will have a choice pawn pitching change coming up here for the Indians. Bases still loaded for the Bulldogs. They trail 11-6 with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. 2 runs have scored. As we'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pond with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Itawamba County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome back, as the new pitcher for the Indians is Kyle Krieger. So Krieger will walk into a tough situation here. Bases loaded for the Bulldogs. The new third baseman for the Indians, I believe, is Russell Bunch, now playing third since Krieger moved from third to take over pitching. So Coach Collier making the changes with the home plate umpire. Bulldogs not going quietly into the evening here in Fulton. 11-6 is your score. As Coach Collier likes to call them, one of your typical MAC-JC Doll fights this evening here in Fulton. So umpire making sure everyone has the changes. 1 out. Bases loaded. Man, the Indians need a Little Caesars double play to get out of this inning with minimum damage done, but the Bulldogs want to get the hit sticks going here. And this is going to be Davis. Davis 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Yeah, you most definitely want to try to get a double play because you got trouble waiting on deck, but instead that's going to be a flare out to right, and that's going to score a run. And so the Bulldogs now make things really interesting as Brandon Parker coming to the plate. RBI single for Davis.
Now batting the right fielder, number 24, Brandon Parker.
And this is somebody that can tie this ball game up with one swing of the bat here in Brandon Parker. Fastball across for a strike. 1 out, bases still loaded here for the Bulldogs. They've scored 3 here in the top of the 6th. Krieger is taking over on the hill. That last run, that belongs to Pete. Runners on second and third belong to Ellis. And now 2-1 is the count. If you're Krieger, you just got to be careful. As we said, Parker leads the nation in home runs. 2-1 is the count. Fouls that one into the parking lot. 2-2 now goes the count here on Brandon Parker. He does have 1 home run on the day, and that was a solo shot to start the 7th in game 1. 2-2 count. Swung on and missed for strike 3. A big-time Renaissance Bank strikeout there for Krieger. And so now 2 outs in the inning, and this is going to be Chase Fagan.
Number 19, Chase Fagan.
Fagan has been a tough out here in game 2. He's only been retired once. He does have a double to his credit. He scored a run, and he also has an RBI single. Fastball across for a strike. Tying run is at the plate for the Bulldogs. 2 outs, bases loaded. Grounder up the middle. Shortstop finds it, steps on the bag, and that will do it. Krieger gets the Indians out of the jam, and ICC will take a 11-7 lead into the bottom of the 6th after a 3-run top part of the inning there for the Bulldogs. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pond with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
Best tailgate, brisket.
No, real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings.
Burgers.
7-layer dip.
Hummus.
What?
You need a hot grill.
And an ice cold Coke.
It's got to be cold.
It's Tailgate 101.
And welcome back as we get set to go to the bottom of the 6th inning. ICC nursing an 11-7 score here over the Bulldogs in game 2. Take a look and see if we can find some scores throughout the league. Check in on the Rangers of Northwest. Boy, they had a shootout in game 1 with Pearl River. It was a 13-10 final there. Pearl River picking up the win over the Rangers. They're getting set for game 2 here shortly. This will be Krieger to lead us off here. He just got a big-time strikeout and ground out to get the Indians out of a bases-loaded jam. That pitch across for a strike. See if we can find out how Holmes home swept by Southwest with an 11-3 Game 2 final. That pitch across for a strike. 0-2 now is the count. Northeast leading Hines, trying to earn a split there in Boonville. That's after 5 innings, 7-3 Tigers over Hines. There's a shot, but pulled it foul. A hard hit that time, just could not quite straighten it out enough. 0-2 stays the count. Game 2 final. Jones defeats East Mississippi 12-6 in Game 2. That's baseball. Ground ball, foul ball. See if we can find the Game 1 final. I would check the EMCC baseball Twitter account, but they actually have us blocked. So having to scroll through the tweets here of EMCC Athletics. Or excuse me, no, that was actually the Game 1 final. Is that pitch missing 4 balls? So Game 1 final, Jones 12, East Mississippi 6. Of course, Jones is the number 2 team in the country. One and 2 is the count here. Krieger pops this one up. It's going to get back and out of play. We'll stay at 1-2. See if Mississippi Delta's playing today. Apparently not, or at least they're not updating Twitter. So that pitch outside evens the count now at 2-2. So 2-2 is the count. Hard hit ground ball, and it gets past the third baseman. Nicely done that time by Krieger, his second hit of the game. And now up, this is going to be Justin Medlin.
Now batting the first baseman, number 11, Justin Medlin.
So Medlin will dig in. In women's basketball action, Mississippi State wins 95-50 in the opening round of the tournament. There's a bunt pulled back, taken for a strike. Forget who State's played. I want to say I can look it up in a second. 0-1 is the count. Runner goes. Throw is in time, but gets away. Stolen base there for Krieger. Throw short hopped it and bounced over the head of the second baseman. Nicholls State, that's who that was. I knew I recognized the mascot. So State, no problem with Nicholls State there in the opening round of the women's tournament. So a runner at second, no outs. Stolen base by Krieger, who led the inning off with a hard hit single past the third baseman. That pitch outside for a ball. 1-2 now is the count. So Medlin, as kids do, waiting on a 1-2 offering. And looks, ooh. Good looking pitch for strike 3, but called a ball. I guess don't know what strikes are anymore, folks. That was a good looking pitch. 2-2 though is the count. And time taken here by Medlin. Medlin is 1 for 3 on the afternoon. He does have a pair of strikeouts. He singled, scored a run, part of a 4-run third inning for the Indians. ICC would like to get some runs back here in the bottom of the 6th. They lead it 11-7. And they're going to look back the runner to second. Two is the count. No outs and a runner on second here for the Indians. Curveball drops low out of the zone for a ball. Count goes full now to Medlin. Three-two offering lifted, knifing towards the center fielder, going to camp over and squeeze it for the putout for out number 1. So now up.
Now batting the third baseman, number 22, Russell Bunch.
This is going to be Russell Bunch entering to bat here. Okay, so Don saying he was told that was not Parker that was in that last at bat. Said it was actually Preston Stringer. Of course, Parker was shaken up after being hit by a pitch on his hand. So I'll make a note to go back and check that. So if that was the case, that was actually Stringer that struck out. So 1 out and a runner on second. Bunch takes a look at the pitch, low in the dirt. Ball gets away, but not far enough for the runner to advance.
Let's go, 2-2.
That pitch across for a strike. So 1-1 is the count. 1 out and a runner on second here for the Indians. 11-7 is your score. We're in the bottom of the 6th. ICC trying to tack on some insurance runs here. Wow, that pitch outside for a strike. 1-2 now is the count. So 1-2 now is the count here. Bunch going to have to protect the plate with 1 out and a runner on second. Fouls that one off and will stay at 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out and a runner on second. Bunch trying to keep this at-bat alive with a 1-2 count, 1 out and a runner on second. Bottom of the 6th, ICC leading 11-7. Time is taken by Bunch. So 1-2 stays your count here. Bunch will dig back in. ICC trying to find a way to pick up those 3 runs they gave up in the top half of the inning. Bunch thought about going at that one, pulled back on it, took it for a ball. 2-2 now is the count. Gulf Coast fans not not liking that last call. I don't think either one of these fan bases really been too thrilled with the umpiring this afternoon. 2-2 is the count. 1 out and a runner on second here for the Indians. And time's going to be taken again here by the batter. So Bunch will dig back in. 2-2 is the count with 1 out and a runner on second here for the Indians. Bunch fouls this one off and will stay at 2-2. Nice job finding a piece of that one to keep that bat alive. So Bunch will come back.
Stay on it, 2-2. Stay on it.
So awaiting the 2-2 offering here from the Bulldogs. Bunch pops this one up. Right fielder is going to walk over and is going to camp underneath it for the putout for out number 2. Well, Bunch that time battled but just could not find a way to win that one as he flies out to right for the second out of the inning.
LeBryant Siddell.
Here comes trouble. LeBryant Siddell, 2 for 2 with the walk. 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs here in game 2. He also had a double and a 2-run home run. He was 2 for 3 with a walk in the first game of the day. So LeBryant putting up numbers that can earn him our Sonic Star of the game. If ICC can hold on to win this one, they lead 11-7. Siddell watches that pitch get away, and the runner will advance on the wild pitch into scoring position. Now a base hit could be huge here for the Indians. So that pitch goes for a ball. I really need to find a color commentator for my baseball broadcast. Is when we get into, what is this, 5, almost 6 hours of broadcasting, I tend to just, my mouth gets tired. A lot of talking when you do baseball by yourself. Siddell takes a look at that pitch across for a strike. 1-1 now is the count. And who I feel really bad for is Miss Rihanna and Cal, as they have to sit up here with me and listen to me talk for 6 hours. So 1-1 is the count with 2 outs and a runner on third here for the Indians. That pitch outside for a ball. 2-1 now goes the count here on Siddell. So Siddell needing a base hit here to push across a run would be huge for the Indians. At least get one of those 3 runs they gave up back in the top of the 6th. And a curveball, and it's a beauty. 2-2 now is the count. Siddell not necessarily agreeing with that one, as he'll just take a stroll around home plate. So 2-2 now is the count, 2 outs. It's Wallace on deck for the Indians if Siddell were to reach. 2-2 offering. Siddell fouls this one straight back and out of play, and we'll stay at 2-2. A wounded duck somewhere out in the stands. Maybe that's just someone's ringtone. Who knows? Two is the count. 2 outs. Wallace awaiting on deck if Siddell could reach. And Siddell fouls that one off. Catcher couldn't hold on to it, so we'll stay at 2-2. Nice battle at the plate right now by LeBryant Siddell. And as I've said before, whenever I talk about him being from Tupelo High School, also legally obligated by my buddy Braden Bishop to refer to them as them blankets. So 2-2 is the count. 2 outs and a runner on third. Sedale trying to find a way to win this battle here at the plate. That pitch missing outside. Now the count goes full. So 3-2 is the count here. Sedale trying to find a way to win this at bat. Awaiting the payoff pitch here. Runner at third with 2 outs. And loses it. Are you kidding me? He called that strike 3. That ball was low and outside. Clear as day. That umpire's just ready to get home. Sedale goes down looking at strike 3. Well, I've said it before, just when you think the umpires can't get any worse, they say, hold my cold beverage and watch this. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pond with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
At Food Giant, serving you is our #1 priority. We offer the freshest produce, highest quality meats, tasty baked goods, and the best meats and cheeses in our deli department. At Food Giant, you'll always find a staff member eager to help you find exactly what you need. Freshness, variety, value. Shop Food Giant today with several locations in North Mississippi.
Best tailgate, brisket.
No, real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings.
Burgers.
7-layer dip.
Hummus. What?
You need a hot grill.
And an ice cold Coke.
It's got to be cold.
It's Tailgate 101.
Welcome back now as we move to the top of the 7th inning. ICC with an 11-7 lead here. That pitch missing low and outside for a ball. So this, I believe, should be O'Shea, Cagle, and Ray due up here. Scheduled to be up, I should say. As this is a shot to right field, and that's going to be out of here. Second home run of the day for Cullen O'Shea. The luck of the Irish coming through for O'Shea, as that's going to be a leadoff home run to make it 11-8 now.
Catcher number 2. Colby Cagle.
So now this will be Cagle, who is 2 for 3 on the day. He has a double that drove in a run. He singled and scored a run. That was back in the 6th. So that one jumped off the bat and exit stage right in a hurry. Breaking pitch across for a strike. Good job by Krieger to come back and fill up the zone there. Cagle has been a tough out. And quickly now, Krieger ahead in the count, 0-2. So 0-2 is the count. No outs and nobody on here after a solo home run by O'Shea to start the inning. 3-run game now. And that pitch missing high and outside for a ball. Well, if he would have put that one in the dirt, probably would have been called a strike, as this umpire doesn't like anything high, but he's pretty happy with anything else well outside the zone. That pitch blocked up that time by Neighbors, like it may have come off his thumb, and that's what he's trying to stretch loose there behind home plate. That hurts. Home plate umpire is going to give him a chance to walk that one off. I tell you one reason why he can't see the home plate, because it needs brushing off. That pitch missing for a ball. And Cagle has battled back now. So Krieger needs to find a way to win the battle here. 3-2 offering. Lardner right back off the leg of Krieger, and that's going to be in for a single. As he is able to just beat that one out. Third hit of the day for Colby Cagle.
Now batting for the Bulldogs, number 5, Fisher Ray.
They're going to ask if Krieger is okay, and Krieger said it hit his glove, so he's good. And now this is going to be Fisher Ray. Ray has 2 RBIs in the day. He doubled and scored a run in his last at-bat. The tying run for the Bulldogs now is on deck. No outs with a runner on first here. Can the Indians find a way out of this one? Pitch in the dirt, gets away, and the runner will head to second. Thanks to some encouragement by his dugout, as Cagle was actually heading back to first. And he took off and took second now on the wild pitch. Now the home plate umpire is going to come up and dust off the plate. 1-0 now is the count. Indians do have somebody getting loose in the bullpen. Pitch is low for a ball. The Indians struggling to fill up the zone here. 2-0 now is the count. This pitch fouled back. 2-1 now is the count. Well, Lady Mo shifting the way of Gulf Coast here late in the contest. No outs, runner on second. 11-8 is the lead here for the Indians. Gulf Coast down to their final 3 outs here in game 2. Can the Indians find a way to escape this threat here? There's a shot, and it's going to drop, and it's going to score a run. That's going to be a double. And the Bulldogs are in business. Back-to-back-to-back hits now. The second RBI double of the day for Fisher Ray. And it's 11-9. Coach Collier wanting to come out and talk to Krieger. As we'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being presented by the ICC Alumni Association, the Bank of Okolona, the ICC BSU, Choice Pond with locations in Tupelo and Fulton, Buddy Long and the Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, Food Giant, the ICC Foundation, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, Little Caesars, Renaissance Bank, Sonic, and the ICC Wesley Foundation.
Logan McGrew.
So we'll have a new batter coming into this situation. Number 32, that's going to be Logan McGrew. McGrew coming into bat in place of Lee, for those of you that may be scoring at home. He represents the tying run. Curveball across for a strike. So late on the call that ICC fans started having a chance to complain about that not being called a strike. And then he called it a strike. Tying run is at the plate here for the Bulldogs. Top of the 7th. 2 runs have already scored. There's a runner on second. Is that pitch on the outside corner for a strike? 0-2 now is the count. Coach Collier came out and said something to Krieger, and it lit a fire in him. 0-2 quickly ahead in the count now is Krieger. This pitch popped up in foul territory. First baseman coming over and makes the diving play. Nicely done that time, as that one just seemed to hang up forever. You're going to see the first baseman come in and make that diving catch.
Number 11, Isaac Williams.
For the first out of the inning. And now up we go back to the top of the lineup with Williams. 1 away now. Williams representing the tying run at the plate. Fisher is at second after an RBI double. Shows bunt and bunts it foul. Good idea by Williams that time, as the Indians weren't really expecting that. So he was trying to bunt it down that third baseline. With a runner on second, if he can get that bunt down extended, he can probably reach on an infield single with his speed. Grounder right back to the pitcher. Going to look the runner to second, throw over to first. And the runner does advance to third, but there is an out. Score that one 1-3 on the putout of Williams. He just about checked up the runner enough at second that a throw to third could have been interesting, but probably a smart play to go ahead and get that second out because that run doesn't hurt you over at third. So now this is going to be Mahinet at the plate. Takes a look at that first pitch for a strike. 2 away, runner at third. Tying runners at the plate here for the Bulldogs. Top of the 7th inning, 11-9 ICC with the lead. Uh-oh. This one's deep into the evening in Fulton, high, but it looks like it's going to be camped underneath and caught for the final out of the game. ICC wins it by the final score of 11-9 to earn the sweep this evening here over the Bulldogs of Gulf Coast. Good job by Krieger coming back after getting roughed up a little bit to go out there and get 3 straight outs to end it on a fly ball out to center field. ICC wins it by the final score of 11-9 here in Game 2. They get the sweep of the Bulldogs. It's been an interesting day here at the ballpark. We're going to take a break and come back with the Renaissance Bank postgame report right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
Ever since you got that license, you haven't stopped moving forward. Now that you're older and on the move, you need a safer place to keep your money. We get it. A student checking account frees you up with things like mobile check deposit to take care of that check from grandma without having to stop at a bank. Pay with your phone when you're out with friends. And stop worrying about ATM fees. We'll pay you back for those. Worry about your future, not your money. And know that we'll stick with you wherever you go. Renaissance Bank, understanding you. Member FDIC.
And welcome back, as that's going to do it here from tonight in Fulton. ICC able to earn the sweep of Gulf Coast with an 11-9 win in Game 2. They picked up a 7-4 win in Game 1. Both those games extremely exciting. We do appreciate everyone that has been here at the ballpark with us. Our opening pitch of the day started at 2:05. It is now 8:07. So just over 6 hours of baseball action here this evening in Fulton. Let's take a look at your final lines here for the Indians. 11 runs on 9 hits, no errors. It was 9 runs on 11 hits, 1 error for Gulf Coast. Gulf Coast falls to 16-4 overall, 0-2 in conference play. ICC improves to 16-2 and 2-0 inside conference play. Let's take a look at some final batting stats here, and let's start with Gulf Coast. Isaac Williams was 0 for 3 with a pair of walks. Dylan Mahinet was 1 for 3. 1 for 3 with a pair of walks. He had an RBI and scored a run. Then it was Alden Davis. He was 1 for 4 with a RBI single and a strikeout. Coach, good to see you. And then it was Brandon Parker. He was 1 for 3. He was hit by a pitch, had an RBI double and scored a run. He was 1 for 2, was hit by a pitch. It was actually Stringer who was 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Chase Fagan was 2 for 4 with a double, a run scored, and an RBI single. Cullen O'Shea, he was 1 for 2 with a pair of walks, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. He had a home run. And then Kobe Cagle was 3 for 4. He had a double, an RBI, 2 runs scored, and a pair of singles. Fisher Ray was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and runs scored. He also, 3 RBIs, a pair of doubles. Castor Lee was 0 for 3. McGrew was 0 for 4. And then it was for the Indians, Lewis, 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored. Krieger was 2 for 4 with a run scored and a strikeout. Medlin was 1 for 4 with a run scored, 2 strikeouts. Thomas was 1 for 2 with a walk, a run scored, 2 RBIs. Munch was 0 for 1. Sedale was our sonic star of the game. Man, he is seeing the ball well right now for the Indians. Sedale gets our Sonic Star of the Game award. He had a double, scored a run, walked, scored a run, a 2-run home run, and struck out, so he was 2 for 3 with a walk. Drake Wallace was 1 for 2. He was hit by a pitch, drove in a run, scored 2 runs as he reached on an error. Neighbors was 0 for 2. He had a sacrifice fly. And then Miller Iron was 2 for 3, and he did score a run. And DeSantis finished the game 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Winner was Austin King. He improves to 4-0. I had to look back and make sure I was right because it seemed like we started this game last Tuesday, just finishing up here across the 8 o'clock hour. Loser was Dustin Dilly. He falls to 2-1 on the year. Well, that's going to do it here for today's broadcast. ICC wins the first game of the day 7-4, completes the sweep of the Bulldogs of Gulf Coast with an 11-9 victory in the final game of the night. Remind you, our next broadcast will be on Tuesday as we travel to Pearl River when we take on the Lady Bobcats, or Wildcats in softball. Our next baseball broadcast will be on Wednesday when we travel to Holmes to take on the Bulldogs, the Fighting Diffies, if you will. So for Lee Adams, I'm Adam Gore. We'll see you next time here on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
When I think of potential, I think of a matchstick. When a matchstick reaches its potential, it releases a flame that ignites everything around it. 2018 brings new potential for you and your life at Itawamba Community College, where you are each empowered to do great things. You can be better, accomplish more, and live a life that is above the bar. Your potential is here.